every day I wake up.
No, you're lying, by the way. Before you say spicy gamer words.
All
All of the F slurs.
Spicy gamer words.
I'm gonna say a slur.
Hello,
By the way,
everybody.
before we come on stream, we say slurs. We say all of the gamer words.
It's part of the ritual.
We go through the
Yes.
alphabet twice at least.
Just to make sure we got all of them, or at least representing the entire rainbow of slurs. It's the pre-podcast ritual. I actually have a video for that too. I wasn't going to start with this, but I remembered I sent this to you the other day, and I did put it in the show notes. I found this on Twitter. That we always start out with some bullshit, right? Of course, there has been a lot of interesting things that have happened over the last week.
Oh yeah, this is you and me apparently.
A rough one.
Yes. America's 2 gay dads got divorced and
In
are now...
Pride Month, no less.
Right, during Pride Month. It appears that they are on amicable terms, but I don't think it's much more
I
than
guarantee you that was kayfabe.
I think
Well, we
Okay.
shall see when they have the wrestling match to decide who gets custody of
Before we
JD
get
Vance.
into it, I want to discuss that because I obviously asked this question in the group chat as to what other people's opinions were on it. And
In a match upset, Rey Mysterio is now president of the United States of America.
Because I think that a part of it, Elon spurging out, was legitimate. He's actually incapable of stopping himself from having these, because he is autistic, so he does get emotionally.
No, that's no
invested in
excuse.
shit.
He's just South African.
Okay, so
Okay, I'm glad you're saying it because we were all thinking it. Let's be real here.
He's extra autistic.
He like accidentally tapped into the Zeph force. starts throwing people's couches out their houses.
I basically have mine removed on account of being living in Europe for so many years. Yeah, look, here's.
You had your South Africanness removed. Whoops.
Well,
They have to seal it in a magical circle with Guinness.
That or Red Breast 12.
So there was that, and then of course, over the last couple of days, that completely, moved on the news cycle. Is that there's the yearly riots in Los Angeles that I'm also a little bit curious about because, at least from what I've seen, everything that's it's the same couple of pictures and the same couple of videos that I'm seeing spread everywhere, and I'm going to go through some of them
Play
tonight,
the cat and Hitler.
because I think that. Okay, 1 second. Because I think that it seems more than a little bit suspect to me. And then also the old switcheroo has happened with
There was
Reform
emotions and drugs
Starmer.
involved.
But I did find this, and I sent it to Spoon. I just said this is Broken Crown, and I think it's accurate. Gotta start with cat videos.
Why is the Hitler cat female?
I don't know. It's Eva Braun. That's basically.
So it's very poorly for that cat in the future.
Yeah.
Great economist, not the best home situation.
No, this also happened, which I wanted to start on some funny stuff.
This legitimately made me laugh. Just Andrew's complete.
Yeah, this made me laugh out
Stone
loud.
face on this.
Complete elation on his face in that frame.
I had a hearty chuckle. I had a sensible giggle at this.
It actually made me full on laugh.
Because the Star Trek gets involved here, and I always like to talk about Star Trek. So here we go.
That doesn't change whether or not I think it's wrong.
Yeah, so I don't understand.
Let Danny respond. Danny.
I want to give Andrew a hypothetical. Suppose there's this unknown society where if you show this signal, everyone's extremely offended. They'll get very angry, like people get angry at typical slurs like the N-word, right? Would you go around just doing this?
Logic? The Vulcan sign for logic.
Do you understand the hypothetical?
What are you posing?
You understand the hypothetical? So imagine
No,
you go to
The hypothetical is like this video and subscribe.
I know that's the guy who uploaded it.
Good for you, just
Can
reloaded.
you use really small? Can you use really small words, bro?
Okay, imagine a hypothetical, right, where you're going to a society you don't know about, but all you know is if you do this.
I'm
right,
imagining a hypothetical.
let me finish. You didn't understand the hypothetical, so I'm having to repeat it. So let me finish.
Yeah, repeat it. Use small words.
Let's say this is extremely.
It's like watching. It's
oh my
like
God, I did
the funniest thing.
I just clicked on a random.
The best way to fucking describe this is it's like watching Kirk fuck with a Romulan.
It pretty much is.
Just watching her get angrier and angrier.
An autist. No, hang on. I accidentally clicked.
He even has like the exact same weird yellow hue to his skin because of his lighting, dodgy haircut, and weird fucking broad ass forehead.
I think it was about here. Where was it?
An hypothetical. So imagine you go to
the hypothetical is like this
sorry,
video.
Okay, imagine a hypothetical, right, where you're going to a society you don't know about, but all you know is if you do this.
I'm
right,
imagining a hypothetical.
Let me finish. You didn't understand hypothetical, so I'm having to repeat it. So let me finish.
Yeah, repeat it. Use small words.
Let's say this is extremely. Let's say this signal is extremely offensive in that society. Really,
You can tell he's kind of is a little bit. It's still his jawline.
To troll people, or would you not do it?
I would definitely tell him to live long and prosper, bro.
And I would reply.
Oh,
and just search out a diff to you too, Andrew-san.
What the fuck did you just call me?
Well, when someone says "Diptor hismusma" to you in
Oh
Volkanse,
god.
which
It's
means
so good.
I don't speak German neither.
If someone says "Diptor hismusma" to you, you should reply with its counterpart phrase,
Sorry, mate, the mosque's that way.
which means peace and long life. There you go. Definitely
I don't wish long life on a single one of you motherfuckers.
God damn.
This
This legitimately made me laugh my ass off.
You were
I
asking
feel
for
like
the
Andrew just completely just stone facing all of that.
Yeah, I know that was.
I messaged him and I went like, "How the fuck could they not tell you were taking the piss? Like, what the fuck?" Like,
Of all the things to pick, he picked the Star Trek shit, which he obviously probably doesn't know that much about because he picked like the worst possible thing to do. Like I've never seen such intertextual like opportunities in my fucking life.
Yeah, true. But yeah, just didn't. The kid was so inside his own head, he just could not understand that he was.
Well, of course, he's got to be inside his own head. Look how fucking big his forehead is.
That's true. That's true. Yeah,
He legit looks like he's wearing a hat or like a helmet of his own head. His hairline doesn't match his head.
Yeah, because look at his neck.
Have you ever installed like a mod to add more options for character creation, and then like one of the scalps is clearly sized for a different creature, so it just hovers? That's what it looks like.
Yeah.
By the way, he was the kid who tried to shit talk Peterson.
Oh, I remember that. I thought he looked familiar. That was him.
He wants to see his quack about that jaundice of his.
On the what was it?
Jubilee.
That round table thing. Jubilee, yes. Real quick, let me get these opening super chats that have come in. Thank you guys so much. Flan the Man for 231 for 5 says DHS retweeting Memetic Sisyphus is the best thing this week. Yeah, I have that because it is. It's certainly the best thing in a while. Maybe in the whole week, but the week has been interesting, so I'm not sure.
It looks like it was this week's news looked like it was fucking generated by AI. If the AI was stoned.
I have expressed a little bit of my slight frustration with everything becoming just memes, but on some level, I guess I'm also sort of relieved by it because.
Can we take the piss out of Razorface?
I don't know anything about what happened there, but yeah, sure.
Oh, what happened this time? Did the
before we
rubble
do,
burn down?
Let me read the other super chats.
A second wax strip has hit the chest hair.
No, Monarchy made him spurg.
He always does that.
I know, but it's really, it's just,
yeah, you told me,
the reason why I think it's interesting is because this is the first time that I've seen him spurg, and almost the entire comment section is not in agreement with him. They're all saying, like, shut the fuck up, Monarchy's base.
Sorry, I've had this joke cooking for a while. The motherfucker's like Kev is more anti. Sorry, I fucking botched out.
What'd you do? Bill, did you drop something?
I was about to say, this motherfucker's like Kevin McLeod the way he's royalty free.
Oh,
the reason I thought it was interesting is he said the reason why America is in the current state that it is because it's embraced monarchical values.
So absolutely bizarre.
How did you get to that? I mean, you can say there's too much executive power when, like, say, FDR or Wilson or whatever. But I don't think that's necessarily monarchical values rather than just like centralized power. And then guess what, Razor? It turns out that once they're in the federal government, no one fucking stops them. So your stupid state rights mean jack fucking shit.
Well, let's talk about the bigger issue that there aren't a hell of a lot of people who honestly advocate for monarchy. So I don't know where this is coming from. However, I've seen it happen not just with Razor,
so much.
but with
By the way,
maybe
here
it's
it is.
because on some level they recognize that there is validity to the arguments. and they don't like that. It makes them feel uncomfortable.
By the way, this was I don't know what the context of this was. It's King Theoden looking at his sword.
Oh yes.
Yes, and he says, "Remember, you are American." And Razorfist, because of course he's a spastic when it comes to monarchy, is like, "Yes, remember that you're anti-monarch." I'm like, I don't think they were looking at sort of Theoden and instantly think this is a call to monarchy. I think it was just more like the executive has a duty to defend the realm of an incoming invading fucking force.
I think it's exactly what's happened to James Lindsay, where he's obsessed with this woke right idea, and he sees the spooks, he sees them everywhere. You know what I mean? Oh, the woke right spooks, they're everything. And for whatever reason, for a couple people, I don't know why it is exactly, but I have my hypotheses. It appears that our very existence, by that I mean monarchists, because there's not a whole hell of a lot. The guy we always cite as our definitive sort of
he's an Austrian man.
Book.
A different Austrian man, by the way.
Who's been dead for 50 years or something to that extent. You know, it's not...
Yeah, he died in like the 90s, so I think like 30 years.
Well, is it 30 years? Okay, he did live to be quite old.
Yes.
But if his big issue is that it's a picture of Theoden who was a monarch, then, you know, maybe look at the fact it's from the Middle Earth mixer.
Yeah. And also, this is the one I've seen him retweet this. And this to me... Because the thing is with Razor, communism lives rent-free in his fucking head. Like, he considers communism the arch nemesis of his entire being. And what I just find very bizarre about this is that monarchy funded communism and therefore it's bad. If that's the case, then why do you like your own fucking government?
Lend-Lease program kept the Soviet Union afloat. They crumbled.
Let's look at the actual
if you were going to hate a government because of what a bunch of monarchs apparently funded, that is the most retarded fucking thing I've ever heard, and no one should take your political opinion seriously.
Well, let's look at the republics around at the time and the monarchies around at the time, and compare, maybe per population of the area, per capita, and also number of different.
So this is a clearly white math.
And actually weight the fucking maths here.
But let's look at this in terms of the actual historical fucking issues. Even if this were true, which it's not, by the way, not in this. I know where he's going with it, but it's not. If this were the case that European monarchs are responsible directly for communism, then why is it that the first thing that all of the socialist and commie governments did
was get rid of the monarchies?
Any degree was get rid of the fucking monarchs, and usually pretty violently. And I'm not just talking about Russia. We can go the opposite side of that, and we can look at fascist Italy. They did the same fucking thing, and Germany as well. Yes,
tried to Germany.
If any of these, if there is something about the monarchy specifically that is so retarded that it, look, the reality is it's not monarchy that leads into communism, far leftist socialism directly, as Aristotle pointed out, and he's yet to be wrong on this, Razor.
And he's had enough fucking time to be proved that way. It's not like he's had a dearth of opportunities.
That leads into this. It's the global liberalizing elements that stoked up the communist socialist rhetoric and which was anti-monarchist inherent. So this is
the American Revolution.
Any sense? Yes. Well, and
the
yes,
American Rebellion.
Revolutions. Yes. So not. I don't know.
As Professor Ledeen put it out, as the forest of guillotines is the American experiment exported to France, where it didn't work.
I mean,
you cannot have execution be something that's easy. Every other society prior to the revolution knew that.
I would like to understand what the hell is mean by this. Embracing more and more traits of monarchy is how we got here. How?
It might be his obsession with Lincoln, who massively expanded the power of the federal government.
Now, see,
is what he's referring to.
This is the thing.
And being a Lolbert, that would make sense.
Yes, well, I know he shits on libertarians all the time, but Razorfist is very, very libertarian. Yes,
he is a textbook egoist, egoist anarch.
I would like to
with some theological tinges to it.
How is he any different from Styx, aside from Styx is pro-choice and he's pro-life?
Styx is also an occultist who acts like a fucking retard and gets drugged up on camera.
I think I've seen Styx
I don't know.
Mr. Crimes.
I don't know. It's just kind of silly.
They both also wear the same thing nowadays, except Styx wears like a
But
pirate
Styx
hat these
clone
days.
thing, like everyone who has this exact phenotype, and there's a lot of them, it seems, crashes out inevitably.
It does seem to be the case.
We need to start checking these motherfuckers' houses for sonitude medallions, because you just know one of them's got one. Styx, most likely.
I think what a lot of this is that everyone wants a bogeyman, right? Everyone needs an enemy to fight against. And so maybe
communism and monarchy.
People are
This is like diametrically fucking opposed.
Yes, but what it is that he sees it as extremes that are impeding on or infringing upon his liberal values, right? Which are the most sacred. So anything that he perceives as a threat that intercedes on his perceived liberal values, then that is a threat. And that there is some minor increasing welling of support for monarchy amongst people, which is a very fucking weird idea to even think about. Because because it is the idea of a public support for monarchy is just kind of bizarre, right? But I am seeing more of it, and I've been seeing more of it for the last couple of years. Because people, I think, are realizing that the democratic experiment was a failure and has been a failure for a very long time.
Yeah.
So
it just all of us just smacks of just weird target finding. Like this is okay.
Yes.
Could you take Moby Dick seriously as a story if right after like being maimed by Moby Dick, you find out that Ahab spent like a year going to the local fish ponds and mag dumping the koi? I don't think you could take it fucking seriously, and therefore I could bring the metaphor to this, which is why is there a sudden civil war between lolbert egoists and monarchists in the right? Why are we even large enough factions to warrant this?
I don't know.
Yeah, I have no idea why. I don't know why I think it's because almost everyone on the dissident right is monarchical in I don't know anyone who's on the right who is pro the republic.
No, I wouldn't call them all monarchical, of course. You've got people who lean fascy there for sure. But I think
on
that...
the dissident right?
In the dissident right, depends on the problem with dissident right is that it starts to... Yeah, dissident right as a general term, though, can lean into different areas. Again, like, I don't... This is why terms are fuzzy and difficult.
Kind of gay.
Because it's not... Well, and I don't mean, like, LARPing fascist Nick Fuentes types. I mean, people who look, here's the difference. People on the dissident right understand power, right?
Yeah, I would say that.
I think that's the key.
Even Benjamin Boyce is coming along quite nicely.
It sounds like you're experimenting on him. I like Benjamin.
I quite like that we just gave him the ingredients, or from Molbug or whatever it is. No, for fuck's sake, who knows what Lucky Star is? Yes, I know. I know what Lucky Star is thanks to 4chan.
That's just cultural osmosis. I thought he's not a weeaboo. We tried.
Wait, there was an intended.
Wouldn't even shocked to watch Shiki with the lads.
I have watched Shin-Chan. Does that count?
No, that was really. That got a localization on Fox.
I think it's just people who understand great man theory is kind of the dividing line, and that can make people who have very vastly different actual prescriptive politics agree on the basics, because understanding power and that great men lead societies is kind of foundational, and for whatever reason, people who are all stuck in the liberal or post-liberal mindset cannot comprehend this most basic political fact.
So, I say, I'm not sure what's more to be said on the matter, considering that this conversation can't get much gayer and has been on a steady gradient.
I know how to make it gayer. And speaking of Italy, here's the food I made.
What's the one on the bottom right?
I have my list up, so I can. I'll get to that. So all right, what this is. So in the upper left-hand corner are ricotta. It was supposed to be artichokes, but I actually forgot the artichokes. So it's ricotta and mushroom and spinach stuffed cannellonis in a Tuscan sauce with, I used chorizo just because I wanted a little spicy, but you probably would put like a salami traditionally. Down here, these little brown balls they're blue cheese arancini with andouille and walnuts and a fig sauce. And then I've got, let's see, these little raviolis.
You just cook for the shits and giggles.
Yeah, it's actually really relaxing to me. It's how I relieve stress by making myself more stressed by doing elaborate cooking things like this.
I've heard her screaming at utensils.
Yeah, I have. Not at spoon.
A lot.
At a spoon. It's really just being like, because something got messed up, you know? A butternut sage tortellini and a butter herb garlic sauce. The big piece of meat, which is maybe more easily viewable from this perspective, that is a porchetta that's been stuffed with sweet potato, like a gnocchi mix. That's what I sort of called it. Chorizo, Parmesan cheese. Oh wait, no, I didn't put chorizo in that. I don't remember what kind of meat I put in that actually now. It might have been sausage meat. Parmesan, and then finished in hot oil. Let's see. These little balls are caciocavallo potato bowls. Like it's a mix of potato and flour, so it's like a gnudi with it's a pistachio pesto sauce in the center. The things in these
Bird cooks
polenta
buffet
cups.
for a local village. One man consumes the rest.
Polenta cups.
Send help.
Inside of them is a red wine braised short rib. And then I've got the beautiful
you sounded
Italian
like
flag.
you sounded like Mr. House after he got freed from the chamber.
The Italian flag is made out of 3 types of macaroni, 3 different sauces. It's
If you listen very carefully, that's the sound of Bill's arteries screaming.
That's the sound of my fucking
Parmesan,
pancreas
mozzarella,
shutting down.
gorgonzola, and pecorino. Oh wait, not pecorino. I used more of the caciocavallo. And then for dessert, I made this tiramisu, which is.
What is it? What? It doesn't explain why the fucking pasta is in the shape of the Lithuanian flag.
That is the Italian flag, sir.
It fucking isn't.
Where's the families who made this for, Bill? How
These pictures
doing?
are getting the chat fat. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I did.
Oh god, poor Bill.
Send help.
Oh my.
When you say help, do you need help eating it or?
45.
Yeah, we do actually. We do actually need help eating it.
No.
Okay, let's should we start with the UK news? It's the shortest segment. Let's just do that.
There's UK news?
Yeah, the old switcheroo.
What the hell is
Okay.
that thing on the right?
That's Axel Rudacabana, a fucking monster who slaughtered all those kids.
Oh, by the way, if you're wondering why Nigel's quiet recently, until just now, it's because he's been hidden out here on Guernsey talking to all our politicians who he's
Is
pally
he
with.
really?
Yes, he's pally with Lyndon Trott, who is our old chief minister. He's currently our liaison to Belgium.
Well,
And
he
every
wrote
now and
the,
then, like
Brexit manifesto here.
when Nigel wants to go to ground, he comes here because he's well liked here. Because everyone's behind all the news and don't know he's a wank yet.
Well, so Scrub and Evelyn called this, have noticed this for a while, nudicine, of the switcheroo of politics, where the left and right will seemingly switch place. It's not really what's going on, but it seems to appear that way. So after the Starmer's Island of Strangers speech, it really does seem like they have flipped sides completely on the immigration issue. So this is Nigel Farage.
Would like to give priority to people from Wales for housing. How would you define a Welsh person?
Well, it's a very fair.
Holy shit!
You say that.
First of all, why did it do that? That fucking nervous laugh. Why should you be nervous to answer this question?
It was a flummy ass laugh too. That's like kind of one you get from smoking rollies.
Yeah, really fucking fake. Sorry.
Well, it's a very fair question from your channel. We hadn't proposed the Welsh language test. No, look, it's got to be somebody who's lived and is settled in Wales, has paid taxes and obeyed the law. And if someone's done that for a 5 or 10 year period, then I think they've every right to say that they're fully part of the Welsh community.
So he's advocating advocating for to just deport chavs.
Well, I am, according to Nige, a Gurn then.
I'm an Irishman according to that logic as well then.
Yeah.
My family's been here 950 years and I don't consider us local.
Bill, that might be a little bit more autistic than normal, but it stands.
Cry me, bitch.
Like, what the fuck is this shit? Yeah, you are Welsh if you live in Wales and pay taxes for, I don't know, 5, 10 years. Sounds good to me, right? No, that's not how that works. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with no, that's not how that fucking works.
Check out this old.
Not taking advice from some.
switcheroo.
not taking advice from someone who sounds like they smoke Chesterfields still.
Listen to this.
This man's face just bugs the crap out of me.
Yeah.
His eyebrows is like...
He has the same...
Go on, Bill.
First of all, he's got like original series Star Trek alien actor face. Hardcore. Like you have expect him to have like half his face like painted black, the other half painted white.
He looks surprised as fuck to be here.
Yeah, but he's also got that weird frog mouth thing that Nigel's got. It's an untrustworthy physiognomy.
Yeah. Here's what he's got to say, though.
Are there any other items of clothing that you think are a threat to public safety?
So I think that the key for me about this is it's about integrating into this country. Immigration is the lifeblood of this country. It always
no, it isn't.
What? Always has been?
But how would you describe this? Okay, someone took... Let's take Dash from The Incredibles, age him up to about 57. Let's make him swishy, gay, and a character, also be a character from League of Gentlemen. Here we are. That's his character.
And give him the mannerisms of Lee Evans.
Yeah, very swishy.
Muslim and Indian population of the UK have not always been here. That is in this scale of history, incredibly recent phenomenon.
I think emigration has been the lifeblood of England because that's how it used to make a fucking empire.
Yes. Right.
Not
Which
this
is
shit.
very different.
If you want to come to England and enjoy all its fucking benefits, then you should just sign off your fucking country entirely. If a certain percentage of your country is immigrated to the UK or to America or wherever, it should force like a fucking like social event where you have to hold a vote to see if you just instantly secede to American or British control.
I mean, that would... Mexico might find itself in that position, of course not.
In which case I would not want to be working for the cartels thereafter.
Sure. The reality is that when I hear people say things like
it would
this,
do a lot better if
from
Trump
the
was
left,
leading the place because it's currently led by a fucking woman.
Yeah. But when I normally hear leftists make this kind of argument, they'll go back and say, oh, well, all the different tribes were immigrants. The Anglo-Saxons were immigrants. Not in any
That's why they lost.
sense. They were, the Anglo-Saxons were fucking invaders. But then if whoever was here before the Celts were probably, buried underneath in their tribal huts or whatever. But that is not immigration in the sense that anyone understands it in modernity. That's normally the argument I hear them make, though, about this, lifeblood is immigration. But this is just ridiculous coming from Reform. I mean, insane.
Reform is
it really
a joke.
is like they clearly. I mean, of course, did you listen to AA's proposal? Oh yeah, you did about Lowe.
Yes.
Joining the Tories.
Yeah, and you should become the leader.
I mean, the Tories have hollowed out Homeland and Reform.
I think
might as well return the favour.
I mean, Reform is such a mess. Homeland now has the stink of the Night of the Long Socks over it. So maybe that is the move. I know
I was about to ask which one was which. Which was worse for
Homeland, the Tories, or Reform? Yeah, probably Tories.
Yeah, I think it would make sense for him to do that. I mean, it seems like breaking bread with the enemy, but if you just take over the party, then it's not really the same thing, is it?
Our empire was built by barbarians in Nigelus Ferragius, in the 4th century.
I'm just saying, they left the keys in the ignition. Means they don't really care that much about it. They've kind of just left the car there and pissed off.
Oh god.
They felt perfectly happy taking over Reform and fucking Homeland, splitting their party into 2 autistic branches in the process.
Oh, right. There was more to this.
By the way, Aiden, did you see that? Did you see the? Well, wait for this one's over, and I'll tell you afterwards.
Okay.
If you come to this country, you have to adopt our culture, our systems, our values. And covering your face is a barrier to communication. And I mean that, whether it's the burqa or whether it's actually scarves, Antifa scarves, which are being put around your face, or crash helmets, or whatever it is. Because that is not the way to communicate. We need to rebuild communities. And you do that by talking to people.
So this is... You know what I think this is actually about? Because I'm noticing that the topic of masks is back in the hot seat recently because of the riots. Not be good.
And you do that by talking to people. The only thing I want to say to them is, you are not English, fuck off.
This is a part. I actually don't think that's it. I think that why is he focusing specifically on the burqas, the niqabs, etc.? And that's just like wearing a scarf, an Antifa scarf. Well, so that fucking, so that you can get ID'd by security cameras, isn't it? And it doesn't just mean it will be for the people you dislike.
People should be allowed to wear
everybody.
masks and dumb bullshit. It's an unfortunate fucking fact. Just to prevent the state pulling shit like this, as you say.
But that's what I think this is about. This is about making it easier to identify people they want to fucking arrest. Which means you too. And
yeah, this does not. This is not about it'll make sure that criminals face like prosecution. No, what it means is that the state will have more opportunities to prosecute you.
Yeah. What were you saying, Spoon?
Did you see the thing with Mr. Beast in the wells?
No, I didn't actually.
Oh my god, yeah, I saw that. Fucking Jesus Christ.
Do you remember, like,
what is it?
In 2023,
didn't they fail to maintain them?
Yes, of course they did.
Of course, they don't have
because
a word for it.
What a surprise if the
it's
people
like being
who
trained.
can't build the fucking wells can't maintain the fucking wells. It's almost like Africa is a giant fucking money dump, and the only time anything ever works is when it's built by Europeans.
They literally trained them all and made sure they had like the resources to. I believe they had someone they could call if they needed any help with them.
And they still coconuts. Attached with a string or something? When are they gonna make a call? But yeah, of course they weren't gonna be able to maintain that. They do not have a concept of maintenance because they have evolved
not in their language.
Societally and physiologically as well, which affects the brain amongst the rest of the body. They have not evolved built around cold winters, built around having to constantly repair things that have already been built. They just build new things.
They were still using shields and spears. They were using shields made of hide in the 1800s.
Not even like trellis or thatchwork shields.
Something.
Just stretched hide.
Stole their knowledge or something. I don't know.
Yeah, black people seem to think that you can just like psychic vampire people of all their fucking wisdom. I'm not sure what the fucking story is there.
They literally think people that have no hair have gold in their skulls.
Oh, yeah.
Well, then, Spoon, we are about to be very rich men.
Why do you think I wear a hat constantly?
Really?
So I don't get a pickaxe in the back of my fucking head randomly.
Holy shit. That's insane.
Yeah.
Let me get these super chats, actually.
Don't worry about all these broke motherfuckers around here with pickaxes.
Slosher for 10 Canadian says, Aiden has been waiting for years so she can speak Vulcan. Yes. Years to show she can speak Vulcan. I only know a couple words because nobody really knows much of it, and also the Vulcan language dictionary I used to use as a teenager to look this stuff up is long since gone from the internet. And I didn't really know how accurate it was either. It may have just been absolute bullshit.
I before I met Aiden, I thought I was a nerd, and then I met Aiden and realized, okay, I'm not a nerd. Aiden is actually nerdy. I'm like a poser in comparison.
Yeah, I mean, I can do this. Like, Felis catus is your taxonomic nomenclature, and endothermic quadruped, carnivorous by nature, your visual.
Yeah, see, like, that's, like, I don't do nerdy shit like that.
And natural defenses.
Still can't get her to read the fucking Pathfinder rulebook, though, the lazy bitch.
Carol is quite essential.
Yeah, see, that's...
It would not be so agile if you lacked its counterbalance. It would not be utilized to aid in locomotion. It often serves to illustrate the state of your emotion. That's Data, though. That's not... It's not a Vulcan character.
No, you see, my nerdiness is sports.
Yeah. I don't know if it counts as nerdy, but I guess you can be nerdy about it. I liked Moneyball.
My grasp of D20 era D&D 3.5 and Pathfinder is now so robust, I can make a character whose gimmick is he's an unintelligent dog who uses racism to throw black holes at people. You think I'm joking, but I can do that in 4 books. 4 books.
Describe that again.
A dog, a non-magical, like non-awakened, regular-ass dog who uses the power of racism to throw black holes at people.
Does it have to be a black hole because he's racist?
Listen, I don't write the martial arts.
Like he couldn't throw like photon stars at them?
You may always reflavor things as you wish.
Oh, I see. Very based. A Rat Bartholomew Cheesington for 5 says, am I the only one getting a random ad that crashes the stream? Oh god, I hope not. I mean, I hope you are the only one getting that. Fuck. That sounds very
kind of
annoying.
mean.
Sorry.
Fuck you in particular, says Aiden.
Eh?
It was kind of mean
Also
when you said it out loud.
Oh, also Spoon, I used your videos to write a paper on why we need monarchy for college. Oh, holy shit! You've
I'm hoping it graded well.
Yeah,
When it's about a
me
college
too.
paper, oh my! I could slowly infect universities.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, they got really high
Totally.
affect, and they probably wouldn't be threatened by it at first.
Yeah.
Ooh,
Maybe,
slowly.
maybe.
Slowly we
And
can
yes, Spoon
infiltrate and we
does
can
know
change them from the
what
inside.
What Lucky Star is.
Yes.
We can't just become the SMR hour. It's too. We're charging far too little for this.
So while Reform is doing all that shit, here's Rupert Lowe.
Slowly.
We should ban non-stun slaughter. We should ban halal slaughter. And we should ban kosher slaughter. We should ban.
Wow. Based. Unfathomably
He don't
based.
miss. He don't miss not once.
Unfathomably based. I know that actually does relate to something else that I'll get, another topic I'll get to here in a minute. But it is put on the other fucking side of shit, these kinds of fucking articles that get published. Look at this in Metro. British mothers have to accept that their sons will have to die for NATO.
Why
From
have to?
Gergana Krostreva.
Your name is literally Gorgon. Could you be more transparently evil?
Mothers in Britain will soon have to make
Gergana.
an inconceivable choice: send their sons to fight against Russian soldiers in Europe, or suffer the end of NATO. Good? Ukraine's
That's a
foreign minister has
win-win. NATO
Yeah,
dies
Ukraine-
and my sons don't. That's fucking great. Why is that bad? Fuck
Dmytro
NATO.
Kuleba issued this is Ukraine's foreign minister, former foreign minister. Wowee. Issued a warning only a few hours after Kiev faced what he described as the worst drone assault since the start of the invasion. He spoke to Metro exclusively about Vladimir Putin's goals to expose the falsehood of the collective security commitment that binds members of the military alliance and Europe's weakness. The politician said Putin may invade a NATO territory soon. So now what? Is NATO going to send a division to fight back? He's not. Oh, he has had 2.5 fucking years to do it, has he not?
He's had several decades to do it.
Well, yeah, that too.
He's been in power functionally for since
20
Gorbachev.
years.
Well, I mean, in terms of him having significant power, it's been damn closer to 40.
But he was an active KGB agent before the fall of the Union. He's been pulling strings behind the scenes for fucking decades.
Yeah. But this is just absolutely fucking ridiculous. Yeah, why hasn't he done it then? We kept hearing this over and over again when the war started. The whole point was for Russia to proc Article 5 of NATO so that all the other countries could send in their shit and wipe them off the map. I remember the bloodthirsty conversations I had with certain people over this exact topic back when the war started. But he's clearly
Do
not
their
going
initials
to attack
begin
a
with
NATO.
A and S?
No. No. No hate. Just
No hate.
I remember
hate,
that was the fucking
hate,
that
hate.
was the argument. I remember it. I have pretty good memory for stuff.
We
like
don't look
that.
kindly on people of shadow in this podcast.
Or was it the one whose name is the strippers?
No.
How little it narrows it down in this
one.
one.
I debated with it a couple times. The first day that NATO will spend on deliberating whether to trigger Article 5 or not, and how to respond, will be the end of the alliance.
Russia is not going to attack a NATO country, you dumb fuckwits.
Yeah.
Remember they were trying to bait this shit out when it turned out that the Polish outpost that got hit was by a Ukrainian missile that went wide.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Look at this. The first day the EU, which is no big brother to England, is going to spend discussing its response to Russia, is going to be the end of it too. This is what Putin is pursuing because he hates Ukraine. No, he fucking doesn't.
No, he doesn't.
He sees it as a useful military and trade.
It also used to be part of
port.
Russia.
It also used to be part of Russia. Kievan Rus, it's in the name.
It's just like Ukrainian is literally like one of those bullshit it's like someone wrote a self-insert character into Hitalia fanfiction. It's like a chunk of
2.0.
it's like a chunk of different cancerous offshoots of our countries.
Sure, parts of
including
it
what used to be
part of
Poland's
what are now
capital.
Bulgaria, Poland, Romania, Russia, obviously. All of what are now countries used to be part of Poland, or used to be part of Ukraine. Poland used to be part of the Polish-Lithuanian Commonwealth. It had a lot of that land as well. So yeah, historically, the idea of
doesn't
Ukraine
hate Europe?
is
That's
incredibly
retarded.
new. Yeah, it's very dumb. Kuleba's not the only one to sound the alarm over the future of Europe and NATO. Just last week, NATO Secretary General Mark Rutte said Russia may be ready to attack the alliance within 5 years. This guy, this is par for the course for him. I covered him extensively in his bullshit in my Ukraine video that I made a couple years ago. Maybe ready to attack the alliance within 5 years, calling for a quantum leap in defense spending and industrial mobilization to avert the conflict. What's the new thing? It's going to be war. It's clearly we're moving away from woke. It's going to be war.
No, this is basically everyone reshuffling because America all but pulled out of NATO.
Yes.
Like the amount of spending that's been slashed out by the US for NATO spending has crippled NATO. So it's basically a facsimile of what it once was. So they're trying to make up the difference, and they're trying to rebuild the infrastructure they had to fucking sell off.
Away from a military spend increase, Kuleba stressed that the real focus should be on developing the will to defend yourself in Europeans. Why would you... What? How are you going to cultivate a will to defend themselves in their countries that are falling apart and being invaded by foreigners? Where if they do defend themselves in their own fucking homes, they go to prison. How... You can't make these two things work and operate at the same time. No shit. If they defend themselves in any way, they go to fucking prison. He said, many people believe the real test for NATO is whether the US is going to fight for Europe. If it's Trump,
why would it?
No. Yeah, and why? The real test will be whether British mothers will actually accept that their sons have to die for Finland or Estonia or Poland, and if they don't, there is no NATO. Good fucking luck. They're not allowed to defend themselves in their home country. Why would they?
If the beast protecting you requires a sacrifice where you lower your young into its mouth, then it shouldn't be there. It should be dead in the ground itself.
Look, this is how World War II started. Why fight for Danzig? Let's give it to Hitler. It's just a city in Poland. Why should we die for it? That was the question asked by Western
You do not want to start asking those questions right now.
You really don't want to start asking these questions, considering the other major global conflict in Israel.
Yeah, and by the way, also, what happened to Poland after the Second World War?
Nothing great.
We were going to fight for the territorial integrity of Poland, and then afterwards it was occupied by the Soviet fucking Union,
who we handed over to.
Yeah,
I was trying to think of specifics. It's like, well, not a lot good for a very long time.
Yeah, so the whole we're going to fight for territorial integrity, historically speaking, Europe doesn't actually fucking do that. So yeah. Anyway, moving on.
The real question is, who's going to tell the voters that the threat of war is real? Is it, though? Is a war in Ukraine a threat to England?
I think if you were to ask the British public right now, are you scared of Vladimir Putin dropping a bomb? Anyone that says yes, you should put them on a fucking register. Because they're insane.
Well, it's not like anyone who's not ex-scum would be safe enough even being on the street anymore. They're all remanded to their own fucking homes for their own safety.
People in Britain or in any other country can listen to what I'm saying, or they can decide that I'm a warmongering Ukrainian who's trying to pull them in my war. Well,
we know which one's the right one.
That's what you are, Dimitri.
Look at the physiognomy at work here. My God.
He looks squashed. He looks like he's wide. Oh, he's like Putin. There you go. He's wide. Like someone has taken this image and just squashed it a little bit. You know what I mean?
He looks like Joe Pasquale.
Oh, a little bit. Speaking of that clip from Rupert Law I played earlier. So, Islamic blasphemy code upheld in UK. Man convicted of burning a Quran. Whatever. But as Rupert Law also pointed out, like, people were all up in arms about this, although when Lotus Eater did a segment on this, I even commented, being like, we said 2015, you know, we're still talking about the Quran stuff. But I thought it might be prescient also to bring this article up. You can see this is from 2008. You want to tackle this one, Spoon? 2008. Or Bill? Anyone want to read this one? No? I have to do it. The Archbishop of Canterbury has caused a furor with his comment that it seems unavoidable that parts of Islamic Sharia law will be adopted in the UK. For many Muslims, the idea of a religious court holding power over British citizens seems totally alien to our mainly secular culture, but not to all non-Muslims. It has often been remarked on how similar Muslims and Jews are in many of their traditions, such as food laws, burial rites, and language. And this could prove no exception. And in this case could prove no exception. Jewish courts are in daily use in Britain and have been for centuries.
Huh, what an interesting thing to learn.
There you go.
Didn't you know?
Should I say anything else about this? I don't know.
For legal reasons, let's not. And just continue.
Let's talk about the riots then, shall we? Oh, well, since that segment is, that's our little segment on happenings in the UK. Let's see. Call Me Cross for 2 says, Bill, how do you build the black hole dog? Bill, how do you build the black hole dog?
There's a race for playing a non-magical dog. If you then go with a feat called Sparking, which is the ability to let you get martial arts styles just on the fly. If you roll nat 20s, or enemies roll nat 1s, giving you different abilities and martial arts maneuvers. The only way to get Sagitta Stellaris, which is a ranged martial arts style, because it's based around knowledge geography, which has no combat use beyond identification of someone's ethnicity. It's the only combat use for that skill. And the only way to get the maneuver from Sagitta Stellaris that throws black holes at people, which is like a level 3 maneuver called Micro Black Hole, is mostly, it doesn't do much damage, but it does kind of pull everything in a certain radius into one point in a certain order. So you can use it for zoning. But the only way to get that maneuver is by being racist in the fight. A dog can be racist in a fight despite not being intelligent enough to really have much in the way of knowledge skills. So by being a dog and being racist, you can learn to collapse space in a certain radius.
Dogs can, like all intelligent creatures, they're able to have some degree of pattern detection.
It won't be very good because you can't get knowledge skills, even though geography, you technically think it'd be something that a dog could potentially learn just by routes. But it wouldn't be very good at it, but it would be possible for you to throw black holes at people.
Very based. Death Takes, become a member. Hey, thank you. Welcome, man. And Lance45 says, civil rights was forced on the American people at the end of a bayonet. Yes. Likewise, I hope that in the next 50 years it will be undone by the same means. I mean, we'll have to see. I'm of the opinion things... I wouldn't say nothing ever happens, but things happen extremely rarely. Putting a definitive on it is maybe a bit too hard. But you have to be very careful about falling for happenings. This
is the kind of happening. It's like the last bunch of big riots. They weren't really proper happenings. Yeah,
this is the perfect segue into that.
It's more like a reenactment event happening in the street. It's not a proper, it's just no pizzazz. It all feels like an exercise.
Well, it feels incredibly fake. All of it
feels like I'm at a LARP event.
It started up, in the Summer of Love, for example. There was a very clear inciting impetus. And those were fake, and there was a lot of fake and gay bullshit that happened there too. But the Summer of Love protests, I mean, it was George Floyd, right? Now, I'd like to point out that this happens every single summer in every U.S. city to greater or lesser degrees.
If I may take a moment to quote my favorite episode of my favorite show. You know, Eddie, these might be the best seats for the annual Hammersmith riots.
Yeah. Particularly in the U.S., race riots have been a pretty much yearly, summerly, let's be very clear, occurrence since the 1960s.
Maybe we should take global warming more seriously. Maybe we can get the temperature down. The rioters would be more docile.
Yes, it has escalated in the last decade or so, but it was at this level of escalation in the 1960s. So this is not actually novel. I know my mother listens a lot, so hi, Mom, if you're listening. She remembers the Baltimore race riots of the early 70s and late 60s. You know? People would throw bricks. They just walk down the street, throw bricks through people's windows in residential areas. It was, this is not novel. The only thing that's maybe novel about it is that it's all on camera now. However, as I mentioned earlier, interestingly, I'm only seeing the same couple of clips, the same couple of videos. And when you look at those videos, it seems to be very minute in scope and scale comparatively to the Summer of Love. So to me, this is a distraction, right?
No one's heart's in it, really.
No, I don't think so. And it really feels like there's no energy behind it. Just like, well, it's June, time to riot.
But even the riot cops have like boken, like training swords rather than batons, which I don't think is up to code, considering they were using them like phalanxes, like opposite way around, like a pickaxe almost. But like they were letting them do so much, like they were pepperballing and like baton rounding the journalists and everything. They were basically told to have as much fun as they could possibly have as a riot squad, and yet no one really seems to be putting their ass into it. It's sad. It is really what Californians are like. They can't even do a fucking day's work if they get given the best job in the world.
Smash the crap out of
Yes, Matt. Look at the local communities out there beating the shit out of each other. Yes, that's the bottom bit.
He was the one who started it all by appealing for calm.
Right.
Provocative bastard.
I don't think we could play that on stream. I think we'd get hit.
No, it's BBC,
I don't think Spoon's familiar with it. Yeah, BBC, obviously. But
look up annual Hammersmith riots. It's just perfect.
It's a good little bit.
Slapstick.
I've used it in videos. But Senator Cory Booker said of these more recent protests, literally recycling the script, peaceful protests being generated because the President of the United States is sowing chaos and confusion. Again, the inciting incident here is that immigration law is being somewhat followed. Some people are being deported. Not in extremely vast, gigantic capacities. Families are not being, hundreds of families are not being ripped apart as the leftoids would have you believe. There's not even any kind of reports on that. I'm not seeing anything to that degree. This is just, maybe we're going to enforce some immigration law now that the conservatives are in charge, and that's sowing chaos. Right? Okay. LA Mayor Karen Bass, meanwhile, blamed Trump for the chaotic escalation of the situation by deploying troops to keep federal agents and property safe, which we'll get into a little bit more about the details on that. But basically, Trump said, I'm gonna call in the National Guard.
As he should.
All the California leftoids freaked out and said, oh, this is, tyranny. This is what tyranny looks like. Meanwhile, of course, they rely on that. And it's very curious. Hassan Piker said on his stream, I think after he went to I think it was before he actually went to the riots, that, he's got a really expensive car, and he wouldn't care if you burned it to the ground. Now,
yeah, right.
I would... Well, I actually believe that, and I'll tell you why, because in his brag about how he wouldn't even care if you burned it to the ground because, man, it's for the resistance or whatever, that's of course the reason he gave. The reason why he wouldn't actually care is because it's a fucking rental. He leases his car. So of course he wouldn't care. He's like, oh, I'll just write it off on my insurance, or not insurance, my, I guess insurance. I want to pay for it, it's not my car. Just let the
I hope anyone who does business with Hassan is watching at home, because it means that you are now being shown full ball that he will not respect anything that you trust him with, no matter how expensive.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I would extend that to any kind of contract. Would you trust him to make fucking payments on anything?
I mean, he is rich as hell, but no, what an incredible statement to make. I'm so brave. It's for the greater cause. If people were to happen to burn my car, or I don't know about his mansion. I think he might be upset about his mansion because I think he probably does own that.
Please, please, if you're out there, if somehow you're out there, Sam Hyde, please save us from this autism. Just imagine, imagine watching Hassan's feed and all you hear is Hassan Piker. I'm here to kill you!
In Los Angeles, at your house, in the middle of the riots
in Los Angeles, in real life.
Maxine Waters said that if there was violence, which we'll see the evidence of it, it was a fault of one or two or a few people who will not conform. Why should they conform? There are no laws in California that are enforced. If you happen to be vaguely brown or screaming for the approved of cause. And the constant state of upheaval that they leave places like California is on purpose too. This perpetually activated political activist class that they can just send in to descend and cause chaos and disruption and distraction is certainly useful. And what are we doing right now? Distracted by this shit, which happens every single fucking year. I'm sorry if I'm a little bit, like, not interested, if I seem disinterested in the LA riots, but it's because I actually am disinterested in the LA riots. Because they do this shit every fucking year. It feels that way when you cover politics for long enough. It's just like, oh, okay, we're doing this one again. You know, I've seen this episode before.
I think if we're going to have a military-industrial complex, it should at least be cool. We should start developing, like, bipedal mechs, and every time we have one of these riots, Kyle Rittenhouse just gets airdropped in whichever one's nicest at the time. Just airdrop that bitch right in there to do some field testing. God, this stuff's autistic.
Yeah. Lansford 2 says, Hassan may be rich, but he'll always be a Turk. Very true. Very true. Let's see. So this article just covers, again, the sort of basics of it. The media has been more than happy to play along. Again, that links to the Kenosha fire up peaceful thing. This is, of course, nonsense. Nonsense that President Donald Trump's Department of Homeland Security went to great strain to make clear in a media release titled DHS Sets the Record Straight in LA Riots, condemns violence against law enforcement, destruction of property, and threats to ICE agents, that blasted security sanctuary politicians and the media for attempting to gaslight Americans. I hate that fucking Zoomer fucking... It's not even just Zoomer, but this therapizing of language irritates me. I mean, if someone's gaslighting you, and people... It is a useful term. I think actually gaslighting is a useful term, but sometimes I also just hate it. Call lawless riots in the sanctuary state of California peaceful. While the mainstream media and far-left politicians have lied point-blank to Americans that these riots in LA have not been violent, the American people can see with their own eyes the truth. Assistant DHS Secretary Tricia McLaughlin said in a media release on Tuesday, rioters are throwing rocks and Molotov cocktails at law enforcement, defacing public property, setting cars on fire, defacing public buildings, assaulting law enforcement, and burning American flags. There was a good bit, I think I have it in my list, of things, which is that Asmongold did make a good point, is that you know it's America because it's a bunch of people waving foreign flags at a protest. Yeah, which is the case. Violent targeting of law enforcement in LA by lawless rioters, and trying to like make that half into looters, is despicable, and Democrat politicians must call for an end. Included were plenty of images and videos where these riots were demonstrably not peaceful, including scenes where kill a cop, fuck ICE, and hang Trump graffiti were present. Cars were on fire or burnt out. The flags were almost always Mexican. Funny how the Viva Mexico crowd does not want to Viva en Mexico, and is apparently willing to burn their own city down. It's not their city. That's why they don't care. Douglas?
It's just a rental.
Yeah, it's just a rental. They're rootless fucking savages. They don't care. It's not their country. It's not their city.
Yeah, if ever you want to basically describe the people who come around as these kinds of pseudo refugee migrants, it's just someone who wants to just someone with a new plaything, not a new place to live, not a new nation.
Yeah,
just a new plaything.
And I noticed, I wanted to scroll through some of these because these are the same kind of images that I saw over and over again for the coverage. This one was everywhere. This is a fucking photo shoot. Look at it. There's 35, I mean, not that many, 20 to 30 some odd people around this guy standing on top of a burning cop car, taking pictures and video. This is cool. This is being allowed. This is a publicity stunt, clearly. What else would you call this? Look how organized for a riot this is. This is just being allowed to happen. Everyone's just kind of standing there, taking videos with their phones and cameras.
Give their photo op.
For their photo op. Yeah, and that's what they all look like this. I mean, look all these photos are of a similar nature. They're, this one too. But this is the same, by the way, this is the same fucking area. To me, at least, it looks like it. It's all like on the same couple of streets, the same areas that are being predominantly infested with this shit. Yeah, there's a lot of fires going on the roads. But...
Where are the Koreans when you need them?
And of course, what does this do exactly? What is this intended to do to get ICE to not do its job? And how is harassing and destroying property and looting the people in the state of California, the bluest state in the country, going to do shit about the federal government. This is, of course, opportunism on the part of the rioters. It always is, every single time. Always has been.
And let's not forget, California used to be fairly red until Reagan signed the fucking amnesty.
The North, yeah, the North still is.
NorCal remains pretty right wing, but California used to be fairly right wing as a state until the fucking amnesty, which means that all those naturalized citizens, the people that, like, when people talk about, oh, as long as it's legal migration, no, because that's how you get the amnesty that destroyed California. It's an unlivable fucking hellhole.
Yep. But again, this is just allowed to go on unimpeded because it's distractionary. Look at how upset the people are. Better capitulate to their demands, I guess. I mean, I'm not always sure what the reason why there isn't always like a broader machination. I mean, there's always broader machinations, but there's not always a unified goal for the cabal. It doesn't exist as such, like an organized cabal of people who make all the decisions in politics behind the scenes as a kind of simplistic and understandably easy way to think about things. But it's schizophrenic because it is different forces at work and different people vying, optioning different things. So, but in this case, it just appears that this is the yearly ritual in leftist cities, and it has been for a very long time. And this one actually seems relatively mild, and maybe that's because it is about deporting Mexicans, and they don't want to get deported, so they don't want to go out and do illegal shit, would be my guess. To the same degree that, say, Black Americans want to go out and do illegal shit during the annual riots.
It's a hell of an assist in the old race war, isn't it?
There's actually a really funny example of it that I'll bring up here in a little bit of someone who found out real fucking fast that maybe they didn't want to be a part of this if they're not a legal citizen, don't want to participate in this kind of shit. So this overpass has been in a lot of the videos. This is the overpass one. Here's a homemade bomb. Let's see how much that does. Oh, is it a smoke? Wow, terrifying. Look, I'm not saying that this isn't potentially very dangerous for the police officers there.
As far as the police are concerned, like, how do they know it's not ammunition?
True, but my point is, yes, I think that they should. I mean, obviously they need to protect themselves. However, this is way turned down in terms of the intensity, is it not? Am I way quieter than everyone, Sinrise? I don't know. I can always move my mic closer. I do have a bit away from my face. Try that. So, yep, that's my point on that. The Marines moving in for the LA riots. This, of course, is it's a tyranny. We live in a fascist state because the federal government called in a federal military service to deal with this because the states clearly were unwilling to. But again, this is distractionary from something. It has to be, because they can't even get anyone to come out for these things.
To be fair, if there's talks of the Marines being sent in, and if you, I don't think you could find anyone willing to be between like a 6'4" Marine and R&R time in California. Because what's the adage with Marines? If you bring in the Marines if you want something killed, destroyed, or pregnant. Like put yourself between the Marines and the surf is a fucking death sentence.
Yeah. Well, right now they're not to participate in any law enforcement activities unless the president invokes the Insurrection Act. So, which would allow them to suppress violence, according to 2 defense officials granted anonymity to discuss internal operations. So, yeah, Marines are getting called in though either way.
Last time they did shit like this was Katrina. I'd remind you that there had to be a bunch of cover-ups over that.
Well, no, this has happened before. It happened last year, didn't it? They had to call in the National Guard was it 2 years ago? To California for some chimp out. It happens all the time. Again, it's like clockwork. Every single fucking year. Significant escalation. No, yeah, I agree. Gavin Newsom and the Democrats not doing shit and letting their cities burn down is the escalation. If you consider any of this actually real and significant happening, which I don't, but it is.
If they're not going to do it properly,
occurring.
I'm not going to fucking participate if they're not going to put their backs into it.
Yeah, I wish that just, act like you. But again, I think that the target group, the target group of this doesn't want to get fucking deported. So they're not. So it's Hassan Piker. And again, look, what do we have here? A Palestine flag, not a Mexican flag. Although there's plenty of those for all of the, photo ops.
If they could tell the difference in that crowd, I'd be very surprised.
But here we've got a Palestine flag. So, and here you go. Yeah. They're throwing water bottles and shit.
This
Again,
is
not
some
saying it's not dangerous.
sad
That
writing.
that broke the car window. I'm not saying it's not serious, but they're just standing here, sort of
fucking Bundy
limp-wristedly throwing shit off of a bridge. Sorry, go ahead.
Like the fucking remember those ranches a couple of years back that they occupied some like federal stations that belonged to like the like
yes.
Anyways, like compared to this is just sad. No one brought any. Like, obviously, you don't want to go into bring firearms. It does add an air of escalation because you're leftist. You want to keep it hand to hand. But
I hope I didn't prime you on that. Spoon, what do you think? I haven't heard your opinion on this really. Did Spoon dip out? He didn't say anything for a while. Oh motherfucker! That sneaky, shiny little utensil man. He snuck away.
It's just so like look at this shit. Like no one's putting their ass into it. Just do something. I know I'm repeating my fucking self.
Well, again, I didn't want to prime it too much, but I think I did by just saying to me it looks like nothing. Because I made videos about the Summer of Love, and so I had tons and tons of footage, and I still have it on one of my hard drives. Just a lot of those things you probably can't find anymore because they've been memory hold. But I have probably hours of footage from that because there was a big mega folder on 4chan that just had like thousands and thousands of videos from the riots during the Summer of Love. And yeah, I saved a whole ton of them to use in videos. But to me, it's like same place, different topic to be fair. Again, this is about immigration, and the illegals probably don't want to go out and get fucking deported by doing crimes. But it just on the scale, it's being treated far more seriously, even I'd say, than the Summer of Love sort of was. But that was so many times more violent. But at least, I would say yet, because it could always get far worse. But I get the feeling that now the Marines have been called in, probably not.
I will say this: if you are Mexican living illegally in California, this shows precisely how little support you have outside of your race. Because look, like the blacks barely took advantage of the opportunity to go steal shit. You realize how little effort that is.
It's white or white passing, to use the term. People like Hassan Piker that are out there, screeching about this, waving Mexican flags. And I would imagine
it required on the ground
like,
deployment.
No, senor, no.
They had to actually on the ground deploy Hassan Piker into Sam Hyde's hunting ground. No less.
Yes. Sam Hyde doesn't live in LA, does he?
Probably not, no. But
imagine so.
Put himself out there in the open where notoriously rich from crypto fucking Sam Hyde could sneak a flight over and get there in fairly short order.
Yeah.
That shows how little support this had.
I know, it's
just
bizarre.
Fucking sad. Like, look, most of the damage to those cop cars, like barring the windshields, will buff out.
Yes. I'm going to read some super chats here. Deadpool Kid for 5 says, when other people are waving their national flags of origin, they are not refugees, they're colonists. In this case, the gangers are the colonists. Yeah, they're waving their flag of having conquered. That's why they're standing on top of, or at least that's the imagery being presented, right? Standing on top of the cop car, the burnt cop car, defiantly waving a Mexican flag. I know the message that sends. We all do. The question is this coordinated? And I think
I will say I do appreciate the term ganger being used more widespread as a descriptor.
Let's see. Rap Bartholomew Cheesington for 5 says, so we have to deal with burnt Oompa Loompas, blacks, and now toasted Canadians, Mexicans rioting now. We just have a normal summer for once. I wish, but
no, the weather is warm. That means troubles are here.
Yeah,
everything must appear like the fucking Hun invasion.
To be fair, there's research on that. It's not just people of specific groups. Everyone's temperatures,
Oh great! It got warm. Now the Germans are here.
Everyone's temperatures run a little higher when it's hotter outside. That there's just been people have shorter tempers. However, It's clearly so much more than that. This is clearly every year. It's like, oh, it's summertime. It's warm outside. Time to go burn and loot shit.
Oh, what's that? 10th breach 20? Well, time for the Punics to arrive.
Yeah, 60 years of this shit. Before probably
stick.
most of us were born, I'm imagining. I don't know if we've got. I mean, my mom's in the chat, so often is. So if she's here, she would know. No, she's often here. She just lurks. Jake Kodo 345, who's been a member for 22 months. Oh, just thank you, man. Thank you for maintaining your membership. Thank you so much, dude. Woolreath for 5 says, imagine causing property damage and just watching the clock to punch out. Couldn't be me. Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't. It keeps happening where these people are often paid to come in and do this. And I wouldn't be surprised if some of them are paid. Lance for... Oh, that was Hassan. Maybe Rich Bill always be a Turk. Yeah, he can't escape from that. Flan the Man 231 for 5 says the Mexican government might give America the greatest gift something for the disparate and depressed male to do. No ROE, just havoc. She threatened war. ROE. I should know what that is, Bill. Not return on investment. That's ROI. Just havoc. She threatened war. Do you understand that, Bill?
It's a return of emigre.
Oh, is it? Bill's gonna look that up. Sorry. Thank you for the chat. I feel like I'm dumb for not understanding that.
ROE is return on equity.
Yeah.
Was it just referring to row?
Well, we'll talk about the return on equity, sort of. Rules of engagement. Thank you.
Oh, I'm being daft. Sorry.
Yeah, I think we both were. We both had a fucking apparently simultaneous brain death there. Uncle, thank you, man. Yeah, there are no... Well, the idea of rules of engagement is also kind of fake and gay. Our enemies, such as they are, do not follow any rules of engagement. That's why they win. Because they're not playing by any kind of polite rules whatsoever.
Better just... Here's the thing, like, there's an inherent...
And it's stupid for us too, honestly.
But because we are trying to aim for, like, a high trust, like, potentially internationalist like society, like we don't want to shed blood where it's not necessary. We inherently wish to minimize violence wherever possible.
Yeah.
So the idea of just going fuck it, crush the riots instantaneously, just grind everyone into the fucking mud under fucking horses' hooves, like it doesn't gel with our mindset as Westerners.
Well, there's a reason this doesn't happen outside of liberal democracies, right? Because anything that's not a liberal democracy will crush these people to the dirt. So they
barbarians tend to know that if you talk shit, you get your fucking skull split open.
Yeah.
And they're better for it, quite frankly.
If you kill your enemies, they win. Yeah, I know. That's such a peak quote. True.
Sometimes you gotta be like it takes a real special kind of idiot to be smart and be smart enough to try and minimize the fucking harm.
You talking about the Grug to Philosopher King bell curve?
Yeah, the Conan effect.
Yeah. Let's see. Soul in the Lich for 100 RS says, well, can Tom Homan arrest Karen Dumbass and gruesome nuisance now? I wish, but probably not. They were sort of joking about it. Trump certainly did, but obviously it's not going to happen. Since they are in complete dereliction of their duties and in support of foreign crime syndicates designated as terrorists, it would be amazing if that happened, but...
And really funny.
It would be really, but it's not going to happen. That is on tax increases. I don't know even about that if that's happened.
I should be right back.
What I do know is that these people are being offered $1,000 to get the fuck out of the country right now. So, as I will read to you from the DHS, they are literally being paid to fuck off. So what would you rather do if you're an illegal South American of some sort living in homeless camp? How many? I forget. I heard the number of how many. There's nearly 1 million homeless people in California, I think was the number. 1 million fucking homeless people just in the one state, roving bands of derelicts, just walking about, and that's why they've got all those massive fucking tent cities all over the place. So, but let's say if you, and I think in many of those cases, those people are not illegals. Illegals get put up in houses and things like that. Those people are lunatics for the most part, but who all traveled to California at one point or another for fame, fortune, whatever it is, get addicted to drugs and end up on the street. Many such cases apparently. But if you're an illegal living in the U.S., and you really are afraid that you're going to get deported, which is allegedly what is the impetus behind these riots, why would you not take the $1,000 and not get if your only two options are go out in the street and do crimes, or take $1,000 and fuck off? I think I'd take the $1,000 and fuck off. I don't know. Maybe that's just me.
And then come back to get more 1,000.
Well, yeah, exactly. Like they do anyway. Come back, get another $1,000 and go back home. Sounds like an infinite money glitch. And it's important to point that out because it absolutely will be, I guess it's a temporary thing.
Exploited
but
for
why
that
not?
reason, yes.
Just they'll leave and come back and pretend they're someone else. They're not documented. That's the whole problem. You're expecting these people to play, again, by your rules of engagement. It was good to bring that up, by Western values, such as it were. But they have no desire to. They're opportunistic. I would say that the South Americans are a little bit smarter, it appears, than the Black Americans, because they at least seem to be able to recognize, I am already committing a crime by being here. Maybe I shouldn't go out and burn shit, you know? I don't know. That's just how I see it, I suppose. Yeah. Where were you, by the way? Eating ice cream?
Eating ice cream? Why would I be eating ice cream at this hour? Are you suggesting that I was a black fowl and I went away to go get cigarettes?
Well, I mean, you did kind of leave the stream. You abandoned us.
I might hear.
You back from... I mean, you did come back. Did you get that pack of smokes?
Sure, why not?
Did you get the milk? Oh, what's it? Neon Suspenders are 5 says Spoon is out for milk. Look, there you go.
There you go.
He was out for milk. He returned. That's because he's a white man. Orwitz Feinberg and Orwitz 10 says, Burb, the cicadas are here. Oh no, God, I can't stand cicadas, bro. I hate them so much. Oh God, I despise them.
Aren't they very loud?
The sound actually isn't the bad part, because the sound is kind of relaxing, honestly. Just like a hum.
Is it because they're fucking huge?
But they're huge, and they will just land on you and stuff, and they're grotesque looking. I hate them. Yeah, they're very gross. People eat them and stuff too. My mom's guy that she knew from high school, who she dated for a while, he would just pick them off the trees and eat them. It was crazy. I mean, I thought it was funny as a kid, but also like, ugh, you know, grotesque.
Does he not have better things to eat?
I mean, I think that guy in particular, his diet was mostly alcohol. So the cicadas were maybe
washing it down.
Yeah, wash down the tequila with the bugs. You will eat the bugs. Cold War Mech for 5 says, I note the lack of outrages because this was an unscheduled riot caused by ICE appearing in a leftist hive city. The scheduled riots on June 14th. Oh, is it? So we're gonna have maybe a couple days off from this once the Marines quiet it down. Let's look at some more videos of it though. Now that you're back, Spoon, because I wanted to get your opinion on this, on my take, which is that this is way toned down from how it normally is. But the reaction to it seems very heightened, comparatively. Everyone, and it seems to be the same couple of videos, so that I've seen everywhere. So here are some more of them. We'll just watch some to see the worst riots ever, which is the way it's sort of being framed. When I look at this stuff, it's nothing compared to Summer of Love. I mean, there is a car on fire, but everyone's just standing around. Remember the Kenosha riots? It was chaos. This is downright organized chaos.
Yeah, they're all just standing around.
Mm-hmm.
There's even someone directing traffic.
I mean, it's someone in a mask, but they are directing traffic.
Random.
You see the guy with the... Look at this. The guy with the Mexican flag and fuck Donald Trump, these people with the signs, they are going out into the center to make themselves more easily seen by all of the cameras.
They literally didn't have enough people to fill in between their plans.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
If you put a crowd around these people, they could get whipped up into a frenzy. But there's barely enough people to block traffic.
Yeah, these people are just doing their... Looks like these people are just walking across the street.
If there's more than 5 people there who aren't feds, I'd be surprised.
I mean,
if you look at this, look at what's around
it's very
here.
rotund. It's a lot of very rotund people and fat,
A lot of
unattractive-looking
khaki
women
shorts.
wearing too little clothing, which to me does smell of leftist, but there's no momentum behind this. It's flaccid.
A lot of the footwear seems very similar as well.
Impotent.
But it's just like, yeah, if you saw these people and they were like marked out as the actual agitators in the crowd, that would be roughly the density you'd be looking at.
Look at how small this is. It's standing on a bench. It's actually.
I've seen Comic-Cons get nastier than this.
What flag is that?
This was an Argentine flag.
Is the other side? Yeah, I think so.
He's got the dumb sun on it. It's a bloody big Argentine flag.
Make sure you have your local, your individual country's sign or flag being waved to sign that these are the bad countries. These are the ones with the bad immigrants. I don't know. I just find this to be so.
I would have thought if anywhere was the place with the bad immigrants, it would be Argentina. Fucking hell.
Yeah, right.
All the best, depending on which side of the aisle you're on.
You're not bad. They build roads.
That's true. They do a lot of that.
It's the strangest thing. This South American village to have a really shit hot fucking Iberox. It's the strangest thing.
Oh man, I could go for a beer rock. Hell yeah, we got a lot of Italian food. Maybe I'll make. Oh no, I have a whole order of the things that I cook.
You get anywhere near that fucking stove again, I'll put you in it.
Oh no, oy vey! Don't do it.
Oh,
so this was an interesting little clip here from the local news ABC7.
Large group of people. It could turn very volatile if you move law enforcement in there in the wrong way and turn what is just a bunch of people having fun watching cars burn into a massive confrontation and altercation between officers.
Having fun watching cars burn.
It's just a bunch of people having fun watching cars burn. Hey, dipshit.
Describing like they're
describing burning. Was it spontaneous combustion?
He says it like the way an English person would describe like someone playing poo sticks.
Yeah. He's just bored. He sounds bored. They can't even get their own anchors to sound excited while they're saying insane shit.
It's a riot. It's meant to be a big explosion of energy and power and like pseudo masculine strength, like just trying to burn shit.
Riotous good time. That's all. Like everyone likes watching
you managed to make
car burning.
How did you make rioting boring?
Yeah,
how far we have fallen. At least have a good scrap. At least the last batch, after Kenosha, there was some scraps in the street. Left and right-wing people had a bit of a punch-up. And that one really hench right-wing dude punched that dude in the head and made him retarded.
Yeah.
Good times.
There's quite a few cars. This is pretty bad. But again, it's cars burning. Very specifically. I have seen a couple of windows broken and things like that, but it seems to be largely confined to the actual streets. I mean, they have... Actually, they've completely blocked off quite a lot of streets from quite a few, from my understanding.
They were burning Teslas anyway.
But they do that every year.
Yeah, they were burning Teslas all winter as well. So what the fuck's the difference? Like this could just
this
is just slightly more of them in one place.
They're just catching up. Yeah. Their allotted number of Teslas they have to burn. And also,
blood, you do not want to be breathing that shit in.
It's also completely fucking possible that they bought these cars. I'm saying that the organizations that fund this shit, that these cars have been brought in. I know people keep showing the bricks, the piles of bricks. They don't need to have piles of bricks brought in, honestly. They can just, it's Los Angeles. It's covered in trash. They could just pick up age-ridden hypodermic needles off the fucking ground.
I was about to say, like, if you were to roll on the floor in LA, you'd die instantly.
Yeah, you'd catch every disease known to man. Including scurvy, yes. There's like little Oompa music or something playing there. Did you hear that? It's like a gay little tune.
I should have known the Bulgarians behind this.
Yeah, it sounded like some Bulgarian type music. You're in Bulgaria. That clip is so good. Yes, delicious carcinogens. Rioters blocked off. This is actually, man, I didn't even know this one was directly next on the list. But yeah, here they are. They always do this. They block off the highways. but it's not just them. It's not just this group of protesters. It is the same people, to be fair. But they do this to protest for, you know, climate justice or whatever as well. Look at all the fucking Mexican flags. And look at how fucking boring it appears to be.
I've seen contrast concerts that are more lively than this.
I've seen more cameras than fires, that's for sure. And I don't just mean like people with phones out, but big fucking expensive.
Yeah, like there's more journos than there are protesters.
I think there's I'd say that the number of journalists, quote unquote, or documentarians to protesters is leaning on the journalist side. Just look at okay.
What a horrible experience.
Just in this frame, right? We've got 1, 2, 3 people in the center here who appear to be protesters. One guy who's on his bike, who I think is not involved, and then 3 people with professional cameras, DSLRs,
and the full bag rig.
Good God, you know what this is? What it reminds me of? We did go watch that horrible movie. What was it called? Not Independence Day. Civil War. That was it. I went and saw that in theaters with the.
Oh yeah, it does kind of have the same vibe, like the really depopulated city areas and shit.
It looks like that, and including that the star of the main character, the hero of that film, is a brave journalist who like lets his boss get killed and stuff right in front of him. It's very stupid. It's a very, very dumb film. However, it's all about the brave journalist going to these dangerous locations, just like Hassan Piker, who went to this dangerous location, but will not go to Gaza for some reason, despite it talking about it constantly. Kind of like there's a big difference between this barely, I mean, people who can barely seem to get any kind of fucking energy out of them, and actually having to be on the ground in Gaza. Hence why Hassan Piker feels more than comfortable leaving his LA mansion to go out into the streets in this massive protest, riot, whatever. Was Tim Pool also reading about Civil War? It was a really bad movie. I mean, it was... I remember, I think when we were all going into it, the sort of... It was fun, because it was... I was in a line, we were all obviously, in the theater. It was me and Disper, and I don't remember who was... God, now I don't remember who was next to us. But, you know, Gary, Nerdrotic, and all those guys were there.
How could you forget Tiny Mark?
Was Mark? Oh yeah, it was Mark. It was Mark.
Really tiny.
And yeah, Mark the Cyborg and X-Ray Girl, and we were in. There was no one else in the theater.
Why was Mark so tiny?
I think he just looked tiny in that picture. There were 2 other people, I think, in the entire fucking theater in Vegas to watch this movie. So it was just the whole row was the Geeks and Gamers people, you know, etc. Nerdrotic, those types, that community of people. And so there were jokes being cracked, but it was really just a shitty fucking movie. It did have that great little meme though. What sort of American are you? That was the only good thing that came out of it. But it reminds me of this a lot in terms of the vibes. So yeah, here you got another cop car on fire. Not even a car. What's on top of it? Oh, I guess it is. Yeah.
He's got that's a strangely cute bag for a male protester.
This is the guy. And so what else does he have on? Fucking Hamas shit. He's got his Mexican flag. This is the guy that they photographed, the you know, front cover of the magazine photo on top of this car. This
Peep the
dude...
boots. Peep the boots. Peep the peep the black work pants. But peep the fucking women's bag.
Yeah, it does have a little woman's bag.
Very well, now, I'm not saying there's a Fed shoes, but there's some Fed shoes.
He does look like a fucking Fed. I mean, this screams Fed to me. Look, he's in shape. This is a fucking Fed. I'll call it.
It's the shoes and the trousers that get me. The fucking work trousers and black work boots. Like the Fed issue work boots.
Lefties who wave Mexican flags while wearing Islamist gear don't work, and therefore wouldn't own work shoes and work pants. So yeah. And he's in shape.
Those are steel toe cap work boots. Those are the kind that you get like issued because they're the cheapest on the market.
Look at all the
slip-on jack
look at
boots
this.
as well.
Look at all. Oh, that's Iman Shang. I didn't know he was. And he's just like, hi.
No, that's not Iman Shang. That's just.
Oh my god.
It's just some
Asian.
Asian.
Oh my god, kill me. No, that's. Is that Andy? No, it's not. It looks like Ian Moss Chong. I was like, holy shit, that looks like.
It's just like an Asian who looks like hit with a shovel.
Don't
throw a shade like that at man. You don't know who it is. No one deserves to be called Ian Mars Chung.
But look at how many fucking people there are just taking pictures of this person with their fucking gas mask.
Got a $200 gas mask for a $5 riot.
Look at all the cameras. Camera. And I'm talking professional camera equipment. I'll just call them journalists. Journalists.
If I showed up to
Over
a riot
here.
earnestly and I saw this journalist density, I would fucking shit myself. That is the worst case scenario. You're about to get photographs from so many angles they could scan you into fucking Blender.
Look at this shit. This is the most fucking coordinated crap. Oh my god, look at this specimen. Wow,
Bro or says, whatever the fuck you are, see a chiropractor, please.
Holy shit. What is going on with this Quasimodo physique? Good lord. And here, of course, another camera angle on this. Is it the same guy? You taking his wait, no.
His fucking misfit pants on.
You have different pants. No, these are different pants. This is a different guy.
He's got the misfit pants on. Look at this. Like, you couldn't ask for this. Like, literally every facet.
He's like ripped. He's like, he's that exact type of shape that women like. No, but he's the
scrawny ripped.
This guy's a fucking actor. I guarantee it. He is an actor that is put on the scene so that left-wing women can schlick to him. Yes, with his 90s
and matching boxing shorts.
And his curly, well-groomed hair coming out from underneath his.
He looks like Mr. Cool Eyes. That's what he reminds me of. He looks almost exact. It's like with that. If he had the tattoos, that would just be Mr. Cool Eyes. It kind of looks like that guy. Who's that kid who said like we love landlords and shit?
We love landlords.
He's got the same haircut as him.
A little bit. Maybe it's him. Maybe it is him.
Might
He's
be.
a troll.
Nah, that's too pale to be him.
Yeah. We love that. We love them a lot. We love that Lord. This is again. I'm pretty sure this is the same bridge we saw earlier because they're throwing shit off of it. You can see it's the same, just fucking couple of just.
Okay, let's play a game.
They can't even put any force behind those throws either.
By the way, did you know you can just purchase like the data from a company, like most phone companies will sell the data for where phones were at a given point between their towers. Like you can just purchase that. So I wonder if you were to take that data and see the route of the phones that these people have, where those came from and like were they all in one big cluster on the road in a convoy together of fucking trucks?
I don't know, but what I do know is I saw this story about this earlier. I didn't put it in the show, but I can just tell you what it was. Is that apparently when during the riots, an Apple store was broken into because, of course, let's be clear about what places are the first to get hit when the poor and downtrodden who can't afford a loaf of bread, all of the, what does actual justice warrior call them? Shoot. The Aladdins, when the poor Aladdins get a chance to redistribute their property, which I don't. What video was that? Was it Tectones I was watching, where he had a clip of Hassan just saying like, "Look, you just see the violent part. You don't see the part where they go back to their communities and redistribute the goods." Like, okay, sure thing, Jan, but
I believe there was a Chris Rock a bit about this exact thing, like, oh, you getting a new flat screen TV, you better bring that shit in at night.
Right. But yeah, they always go after the Apple stores. They go at brand what do you call it, like expensive brand clothing, Louis Vuitton type shit, Chanel, anything that they can get.
Everyone taking cover, like trying to take cover in the safest place possible, the bookstore.
Yes, yes. I think I saw a tweet that was something. It said something to the extent of, the safest place to be right now in LA is in a bookstore that doubles as a Father's Day gift supply company or something like that.
It's the right time of year in the UK at the very least.
Yeah, it is. Well, Father's Day.
I think they're mutual, aren't they?
Yeah, I think Father's Day is the same.
Father's Day that varies.
They're both. It's both in June, but yeah, that would be the safest place to be, I'm sure. Spoon-kun, are you there?
Job application dispensary.
Did he dip again? He did.
I can't believe he's done this. Everyone,
I can't believe
shame
he's done
him.
This. Yeah, shame him.
He's off watching Lucky Star.
But that's what it is. Look, I mean, he's just discovering his love for anime.
He found out about the OVAs and he's been obsessed.
I mean, hang on a minute. I think I had some evidence of this. Let me pull this up. Because I think that Spoon, if he is becoming a weeaboo, we had some evidence that might have been happening for a while now. I guess he watched one episode of Lucky Star, and it completely brain broke him. He has to go watch it now. I did have this, though, you know? Yeah, I mean, it's damning evidence. He did say ooh woo. He should watch some anime that I suggest to him. We're watching right now, Orb, the Movements of the Earth. I'm pretty happy
I've been
with that.
pondering it. I'm not sure if I like it yet.
I'm not sure if I like it. It's interesting. It's slow. I didn't expect it to be an anthology series, but it is about guys. It is an anime about the discovery of heliocentrism.
So the rediscovery and re-establishment of it as a
yes, more accurately. But it is about the study of heliocentrism. Very based. I really like the I like the premise. I'm just not sure if I'm totally vibing with it yet. But we're only like what 5 or 6 episodes in. We finished Run, which I had been meaning to finish for forever. So, but Spoon should watch.
Seem to watch Konosuba season 3.
We should watch Konosuba season 3. We're behind on that. Spoon, I would like him to watch my favorite anime, Mirai Nikki, but I don't think he'll do that.
What your favorite was reading a healer?
Oh, there's music on this. Fuck that. Fucking bad boys. Oh yeah, look at this. Like what? But is he actually trying to stop it? What is this? What is happening in this video?
It's a fucking Benny Hill skit is what's happening.
I know. He's just kind of slowly jogging backwards. The car doesn't appear to be trying to run him over. I don't even know what I'm looking at, honestly.
Why are they being next to
see, of course.
The little e-scooter is going straight past him like it's nothing.
There's the guy with the camera has been there the entire time, almost like they set this shit up. You know what I mean? Like he's been there with his camera, and it's on a. Oh, it is just a cell phone. To be fair, I thought that was on a gimbal or for a minute, but no, it is. Oh, he did get run over. Holy shit.
This might be a case of if this is an actor, it might be a case that he might have actually brained himself a bit there.
Well, maybe that wasn't supposed to happen. I don't know. Holy shit! But what?
Can we
things like this.
Look at the sound of his head hitting the concrete. It's just doof.
There are so many different factors in these kinds of situations.
Brained. Holy shit!
Like this malice and stupidity of both the rioters and the government. So we're having to balance as to which is the stronger factor: the stupidity or malice of each side versus like what the chances of it being a gay op.
Funniest episode of the Riot so far.
Yeah, some people are there legitimately, like I said, but maybe this guy was legitimately and he just got caught in this sort of
under
game
the wheels
of chicken
of
with a car.
Cars.
Well, yeah, he started playing chicken with. Look, here's the thing: if you're a pedestrian, don't play chicken with a car. It's just a really
tonnage has right of way.
Yeah, what was he thinking?
That it does.
What was he thinking? Let's see. Inconvenient picture surfaces after Boston mayor compares ICE agents to neo-Nazis. This is pretty funny. So Michelle Wu, of Boston, first term mayor, running for re-election, has already disgraced herself on the national stage since taking office, getting caught throwing a Christmas party for non-whites only.
I remember that in the
for instance, yeah. Or expressing fatalistic helplessness as her own city's black residents lost a treasured community center thanks to then President Joe Biden's invasion of illegal immigrants. But in comparing agents of Immigration and Customs Enforcement to a neo-Nazi group active in New England, she disgraced her whole city. It's reported by WFXT-TV, Fox affiliate in Boston. Wu used a May 30 interview with Boston public radio station WBUR to brand ICE agents as secret police. She also implicitly condemned its agents for sometimes being masked during apprehensions of illegal aliens. Again, this mask thing keeps coming back up again, which is interesting. That they are still using...
Make
and this is
both
what I said
sides
about
hate masks.
Well, the thing is that the COVID era normalization of wearing of masks, it's like, as I said, as we've said many times, is that when the escalation of government control increases to a point, it never goes back down. This idea of the state of exception, right? That, we have to escalate for a little bit because it's a time of emergency. Well, it never goes away. I mean, in terms of it being the public attention, yes, but any rules that are placed on the books, any laws, etc., any norms that are established, they just remain around. So it's just normal to wear masks, right, when you want to do crimes. And I think that's why so many of them are talking about the masks, even in the UK, as we saw, talking about the masks, because it makes you way more easy to identify if no one is allowed to wear a mask. Then you get the Republicans and right-leaning people to happily sign up for all kinds of ways of identifying themselves to the government.
They had the masks in place so that people could like rob you and victimize you with impunity. You have learned helplessness, and now's the time to make it so you have no privacy whatsoever. So now we can move on to the next stage of the plan. It's kind of genius in how elegant it is.
Yes, you get the people to support the tyrannical shit you want to do by convincing them that they need to. That it's and that they, in fact, it's very, very hard to convince people into a position that they don't already hold. So if you want to convince people to go along with something, and it's always easier if they acquiesce, convince them that you are supporting the thing that they believe and care about. What is Keir Starmer doing? Actually, surprisingly well, considering how poor Reform's response has been. It's always been this way. It's always been like this. You agree with me.
I don't know of any police department that routinely wears masks. We know that there are other groups that routinely wear masks. NSC 131 routinely wears masks.
Mayor, just to clarify, are you comparing ICE, you said, to NSC 131, a neo-Nazi group? Are you comparing them to a neo-Nazi group?
What I said is that Boston Police and no police department that I know of...
I've never even heard of this group, by the way.
Just say no, you moron.
Well, no, because she was doing that. She was comparing the ICE agents to a neo-Nazi group. Which, by the way, I've never heard of them. I'm sure they're a lovely group of feds.
You're suggesting that neo-Nazis are police officers. That's not really a diss.
Well,
it says more about you.
Fucking untrue.
I'm sure if that all cops were neo-Nazis, maybe this shit would have been... maybe we wouldn't have these riots, for instance.
Here's what they are. NSC 131 is a neo-Nazi group based in New England that a 2023 Boston Globe report described as including 30 or 40 members with an enemies list that includes drag performers, immigrants, Jews, communists, all people of color, and sometimes law enforcement.
Show me how you hold up three fingers.
Is this how they phrase it? Because you want to know how I can tell this is a fed op? Because you said all people of color and didn't name them by their individual slurs.
Or just say non-white.
Or just say non-white. Honestly, all people of color.
Colors.
Tell me you're a fed op without telling me you're a fed op.
It's a rough day when the fed ops are this bad. I mean, fucking hell.
Pathetic.
It's like finding out the Klan has a fucking HR department.
Apparently a tiny rabble mouthing racist belligerents, the mayor of Boston chose, for comparison with the federal agency tasked with enforcing immigration laws in the country. I mean, that is it too, right? Of course, is that enforcing laws. It's also so performative. This is a game. It's a show, right? Look, it's the people trying to defend, the illegal immigrants who are from that perspective, it's, they just want to be able to eat. They're starving. Their countries are shitholes. We need to help these people. It's women and children, that kind of, mentality on it. And then the other side, it's the barbarian forces at the gate and keeping up this show with all this performative aspects of it is part of politics.
Here's the thing. If 50 people can worry a city this big, this much, that the mayor knows how to name drop them in conversations to talk shit.
I mean, Boston famously known for Irish people beating the shit out of each other in the streets. Yeah. That's like the city pastime.
Yeah, like race riots are a fucking sport out there.
For over 100 years, there's been Irish people breaking bottles over each other's heads there.
During a recent
used to call them anniversaries.
Michelle Wu made reckless and inflammatory statements regarding enforcement efforts.
But imagine 50 people. It's not even enough for a fantasy football league.
Can you get any more plastic than this bitch?
I mean, it's scary. Right?
My God, can you put some life into your reading? My God.
Crazy. Seems like AI.
Commonwealth. referring to federal agents as, quote,
I feel like I'm about to be told that I need to move my parking space.
There are no secret police.
Yes, there are. What are you talking about? There are no secret. Okay, dude, this is the responses to this stuff have been pathetic too. That's the other thing, is that that's why it all feels so coordinated, because it's not even like the Republicans are able to mount any kind of. I mean, I know they're moving in the Marines, whatever that's gonna do. They'll just it is already it's paltry as is, and this kind of don't insult federal agents. It's offensive to call them the secret police. What if I just call you Fed? And life has many dollars, Fed boy.
Walk into the ocean, glowy. Like, just, like, fucking hell, like, you should be everyone here should be insulted that they are putting in this little fucking effort. They can think this little of you.
No,
this
look,
passes for an actual operation.
Yeah, like, I'm a white woman. I'll write my own compiler, okay?
Along with other.
I can't make any jokes around that one.
Are making immigration arrests. That is no secret.
Cold like a white man.
Arresting individuals who are here illegally, which is a violation of federal law. Every enforcement action is conducted within the bounds of the Constitution.
Holy shit, she goes on for another minute. I just realized how long that was. Fuck, can't listen to the AI woman.
Fucking cure for insomnia, Jesus wept.
I know. But here's a Boston Sanctuary Mayor Michelle Wu, now as compared to ICE wearing,
who?
Mask wearing who? Not Wu, who, you ignorant fucking...
Watch Deadwood, folks.
Yeah, watch Deadwood. Well, she is one. So...
Deadwood, dead weight, more like.
Compared mask-wearing ICE agents to a neo-Nazi group, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, that's just,
Today's slur of the day is celestial.
But there, of course, she is wearing a mask, so, haha. Obviously, they don't care about hypocrisy. They do want to be able to bring the mask back for, as I believe, a push towards more surveillance. Make it illegal to wear masks, or at least put it on the table, to bicker over. But ultimately, the plan being to make it easy to identify people. So Hassan Piker, Hamas Diddy, Osama bin Laden Piker.
Shin-Chan's dad.
Shin-Chan's dad. Showed up. Of course, he will not go, as I mentioned, he will not go to Gaza because he might actually get hurt there. The worst thing that happened to him in LA is it tousled his hair.
Mate, I guarantee you some worse things have happened in LA to Hassan Piker if you grew up around that neck of the woods.
No, I think he did grow up in LA, but he's like an ultra rich kid. He's a nepo baby.
That's never stopped the bad business before. As they say, how do they separate the men from the boys in California? With a crowbar.
Yes, Adolf Epstein, Osama Diddy Piker. There you go.
From this side of the road. Oh,
flashbang. Or some sort of.
That fucked my hair up.
Oh no. I think he's genuinely fucking terrified. He's laughing, but that's a common actual response to being scared. I think he's actually fucking afraid. But the first thing he thinks about is his hair. And also, look at this sign in the background. Fight for socialism and LGBTQ liberation. Ma'am, this is an anti-deportation protest. This is an Arby's.
Also, no. Can we talk about how small the for and are? So it looks like it says fight socialism and LGBTQ liberation. Because you fucked up the font placement.
Right, yeah.
You fucked up your formatting, so it looks...
LGBTQ liberation. Yeah, just
that,
fight
that sign
things.
looks like a shitpost, legitimately. Meanwhile, we're here with fucking on the scene with news anchor Turkish Johnny Bravo.
Yeah, don't do Johnny Bravo dirty like that.
Well, it's like everything. Turkey's like the mirror universe from Star Trek. Everything's the opposite.
Oh, okay,
Evil.
yeah. Oh, right.
That's just how Turkey is.
Yeah.
Anyway,
just look at all the women. Look at all the women out here at this dangerous protest in little booty shorts and skirts and stuff. It seems very dangerous, because I'm sure your life and your hair was in real danger.
Yeah, you know what really screams right to me? A pleated skirt and crop top combo,
right.
tank top combo.
She's in like a little schoolgirl outfit, almost.
She's wearing heels, for fuck's sake.
Look at the heels, yes. Yeah, very dangerous situation where women are out in public in the midst of it.
This just looks like kicking out time at a nightclub.
I know. By the way, they are in the middle of a fucking highway, but out there with pumps on and a little schoolgirl skirt.
I've seen
Yeah, I'm
flash
sure
mobs with a higher body count than
dangerous.
this.
Right?
The only thing with the body count here is most of the women.
Yeah, that's the highest body count. Yeah.
Oh, Jesus Christ! There.
You know,
I know
that's the
it's
strangest
loud,
thing about
but it is
Hassan. You know,
It's a flashbang.
you know, it
As far as I
doesn't matter who it is on, who's supposedly some big like anti-Christian crowd. As soon as the fucking flashbangs start going off,
Yeah. Yeah.
still shouting Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Not a good Muslim.
Oh, they were starting to walk.
Yep. Here we go. And again, it's why he will not go to Gaza. but is
Folks at
going
home who are
to
Muslim,
here.
imagine letting Hollywood occupy your fucking religion like that.
I have seen this. I really have to use the restroom. And Spoon has been sort of dipping in and out. I didn't even know. Spoon, are you here? Spoon.
Yes.
Watch this. What? Yeah, I know you're doing something else, but we're putting on a show right now, sir.
I'm gonna start
So-
fucking carrying out hand checks.
Listen to this. I'll be right back in 1 second. Here we go. I'll just play it. Oh wait, let me make sure it doesn't autoplay. I don't know how to turn that off. Whatever. Shoot.
For sure.
No wonder there's so many federal agents in my fucking chat, dude. It's like half of the protest is Hassan Piker. Block cam selfie, back cam selfie. What's up?
There's a right wing doing shit like this. Have a proper riot.
Watching you, sorry, how about this fire from running over and everything?
Did he just say
But,
half his
the
chat is full of federal agents?
Of course. Nice to meet you, man.
From Pakistan.
If this was carried out by a right wing,
But by the way,
content creator, imagine
play
what
that bit on the right. No, that.
it's just defaulting to Adam Carolla video. I can't switch this off.
One of your photos went.
It's too late. We have the royalties now. We're fucked.
There's a clip next to it by Charleston White that was funny.
I caught it just in time.
Here we are with Mac from Always Sunny.
Yeah. So yeah, that's why he will go to LA, because it's all his fucking fans out in the streets. If there's anyone there legitimately who's not a fucking Fed, it's Hassan Piker fans.
Bro, he's out.
By the way,
Let's go down to Waukesha, see how they like you there.
He is in so much shit with the U.S. government. I mean, obviously he got detained. Well, Asmon's been dunking on him for months. But you know,
You can't
it's been pretty
listen.
funny.
Asmongold is the natural lord of all cockroaches. Therefore, as a
Yeah,
Turk,
he is
his
the
will
cockroach
is
king.
bent to the will of Asmongold. He
He's
cannot
the
violate the
superior
ancient treaty.
Yeah.
Out there, he's out there talking about.
This video, just in general, it's good. It covers a bunch of the stuff that's going on with it, and this is of course referencing How Fucked is Hassan Piker, the series that Nuxtaku's been doing, where he has been cataloging Hassan's weekly fuck-ups, which are more than
There's
weekly.
a fucking meal
Constant.
ticket of a show, isn't it?
Yeah, pretty much.
About me. Hopefully one day we'll see the largest political commentator Asmongold out here in the streets, you know, for protesting for, I don't know,
So
maybe.
he is out here in the supposedly, you know, dangerous zone. Well, it's dangerous when they want it to be, right? It's a peaceful protest when they want it to be, but then it's dangerous when they want attention.
How
and money.
does he wear so many clothes, but he still looks gayer for it?
Well, because he has all designer clothes. That's why.
No, just the entire ensemble makes him look like a fag.
What do you expect? He dresses like a yassified version of Shin-Chan's dad.
He has the worst fashion sense. It's unfucking.
Yeah, none.
Yeah.
Bro dresses like a fucking trapper keeper.
Yeah. But he's out here at this riot or peaceful protest, whatever the fuck you think it is, this important political event, allegedly, and he's talking about Asmongold. A guy who is famous playing World of Warcraft.
I'm gonna fucking coin a term. This is a stretch of a joke, but please sir Yarafat as a term for I'll take a friend.
Please, sorry. Oh my god.
It's a bit of a stretch with the Yasser Arafat joke. I'm not sure how many people even remember him when he was in charge of Palestine.
Oh, I do, yeah. El Monster for 2 says, who's having it worse, Latinos or Boers? Which I could never pronounce right. I'm sorry, Spoon.
Boer.
I can't do it. Boers. But then
Are you saying Boer or Boers? I was
think
saying
the
boo.
Latinos, in terms of you mean like actual citizens? I don't think that they're having any problems whatsoever. If you mean illegals, maybe, but I don't care.
Let's do a trade. Mexico can have South Africa, and South Africa can have Mexico.
No.
Let's see. You want to see some real war crimes?
Like that one, no.
You want to see some real war crimes? Let Mexico be in charge of the Cape. Holy fuck! It would make the Khmer Rouge look like a fucking darts team.
God, Khmer Rouge, that's a good darts team. Hill 451 for $10 says, friendly reminder of Hassan, by the way. This is a grown man, probably in his 30s. I believe he is 37. They can't even bother, or 38. He's approaching 40.
He's getting there. He's a lot older than us.
Well, not a lot older, but he's a couple years older than us. They can't even bother to sit at his own streams. No, he cannot. That's why he has a chair cam. And still nags his mom to cook him dinner every day in his own house. I don't think he nags her every day, allegedly. He basically refers to her as a housekeeper, though. His own mother.
Pays her
it's
as
very
such.
bizarre.
I think it's just a tax dodge. Like, bro can't even just buy a toaster oven. Just keep it on your desk.
Like, his...
Think of how little downtime he'd have if he just had a toaster oven on his desk and a bag of fucking nuggets in a fridge
His whole
freezer.
family are ultra rich. His mother is a landlord, so she doesn't.
Just have a fucking just lay into the Turkish gimmick. Just have a big shawarma like meat tornado right next to
just
you
rotate it next
at
to
all
you.
times.
He just
And then we can all watch you fucking slow roast in the fucking August heat this year.
That'd be funny. I'd like that. Slosh for 10 says, someone pointed out that Hassan looks like a Valley girl. Sounds like a Valley girl when he gets incredulous. Absolutely, he does. Just another reason to laugh at him. Yes, he has very affected Valley girl speech. Yes,
He's a
I
fop.
say all the time. Yeah.
He's a fop and a dandy.
Mm.
A bellend, more importantly.
Yes, all of these things are true.
Okay, sure. I'll go with the National Guard to arrest everybody who's standing in the highway. Yeah, I think that sounds great.
He looks like if a modern medicine man did the YMCA.
Yeah. Yeah. Good God.
Some people spaz out. This is literally what the mayor said.
I would love to see Asmongold in like a fucking cop uniform dragging fucking Hassan off.
That would be pretty funny, though.
Not peaceful what was happening. It's not peaceful for people to be on the highways. It's not peaceful for people to throw rocks. That's not peaceful.
And now this genius is...
That's the mayor. It's not peaceful. Of course, they're not going to do anything about it, and they're going to cry and screech when Trump goes, okay, you're not going to do anything about it. I'm going to send in the
Bernie being
Marines."
forced to do actual work.
I know.
No!
Bernie Sanders tweets, Dr. King defeated racist government officials and ended segregation through discipline, nonviolent resistance. Defeating Trumpism, oligarchy, and authoritarianism requires that same level of discipline.
Yeah,
Hassan
there was no
gets mad
NGOs
at
or government backing by the federal government with regards to desegregation in any way whatsoever.
Yeah.
No.
But Hassan actually stood up to his daddy, the man he wants to notice him more than anything, Bernie Sanders, and says, you were literally there at the nonviolent protests that everyone considered to be violent and unpopular, so I have no idea what this statement does other than lean into the hysteria that gives Trump enough momentum to mobilize the Marines on U.S. soil illegally. It's not illegally.
How?
He's the commander-in-chief, you dumb shit.
How is it illegal? According
It's
to
not.
who?
Do you think this is... Okay,
He's the chief
let's cut to
executive of the United States, you fucking moron.
Let's cut to the marrow of the matter, is that when AOC and Bernie were having the little shindig tour, and Hassan was tagging along, I think maybe Hassan didn't get as much stage time as he'd liked, or maybe got overcharged for the privilege. And I think maybe he's having a bit of a grudge.
Well, he's still kissing Bernie's ass here. So this is what you did. They called what you did violent protest. Okay, yeah.
Well, he has to. He doesn't have much else to do.
Do you think they're trying the same thing? Okay, if we assume that the Trump Elon shit is just psyop bullshit, is this what they're attempting here? Is that the same shit? Just like fake, like friction between two similar faction.
Possible.
He's also calling out Bernie Sanders after he said these protests were counterproductive.
But they're putting themselves in harm's way and potentially setting themselves up for a criminal future. Talk to the DA.
Yeah, and if they're illegals, they're gonna get fucking deported, which is why these protests, riots, are so fucking anemic.
Just a couple of minutes ago, the DA will file felony charges on individuals, and also the potential for federal charges.
I can't get the fucking dumbass take that Asmongold had out of my mind. It was the stupidest.
Oh God, bro, it's always about me. Which one?
Being like, oh, if you ever see protests where there's other countries' flags being waved, you know you're in America. It's like, yeah, dumbass, it's a diverse country.
Oh my god. It was actually a pretty, I thought, cute little observation by Asmon, because it's true. Yes, I think someone in the chat pointed out that you'll see American flags as sort of a symbol of liberty or freedom in other countries occasionally. But when you look at protests in most parts of the world, if there is mass waving of flags, it's usually the country's flag. Particularly in democracies, where the whole sort of idea, faulty or not, I obviously believe very faulty, that the demos decides the course of the nation, then whatever the people are out there protesting for, you would want to tie to the nation, because it's all of us in it together. It collectivizes it. You put an American flag over it. It's Americans want this.
About to say,
right?
think of it this way, like, okay, you can, if you look around at protests and you see the different flags, you can kind of tell if things are about to get worse or better.
Yeah.
If you're watching American flags everywhere, things are probably getting better, at the very least worse at a slower rate. Whereas if you see a bunch of Mexican flags and God knows what fucking South American flags, you know, so, oh, well, there goes fucking housing prices for the next 20-odd years.
If it's a diverse
Stop
country,
looking my duck car again.
Yeah.
American flags, though? Because, like, I mean, to be fair, at least there's one of them right there.
Also, not much to feel proud about right here. This endless...
What a bizarre thing to say. Yeah, there's not much to be proud about right there. For your side, for America, or for anyone. It's pathetic. You've got a bunch of Redditors and paid government employees out on the streets. There's no fucking Mexicans out there with you.
They defaced the LA mural for Kobe and his family.
Oh, yeah. Which is, just destroy... what? Did they even give a reason for why?
No.
They destroyed the Kobe mural? Well, because they're violent, rootless savages. That's why.
Police militarization.
You wouldn't... that Kobe was a very devout Christian, if I recall correctly.
Yeah, well, maybe.
He went to mass.
Need the militarization. You didn't have people throwing rocks at him. You have to remember bricks of peace, gentlemen. This is protesting.
This is what I'm saying. He's showing the same clips because they are kind of all the same clips that I've seen online consistently for the last week that this has been happening.
Guys, they're just protesting. Guys, it's a protest. You have to understand.
They're having to mine more bricks to throw.
Bro,
this Minecraft ass fucking riot.
Yeah. I don't know why. Did that just... Oh, okay. Weird.
You have to understand. Listen, this is
that was the whole clip. Okay,
this could legit be used as a training operation for if we plan to go back in time and fuck up the cavemen.
Yeah.
Like if you want to say, I've decided I really want to fuck up like Australopithecus or something. This is a good dry run of what it would be like to do precisely that. Or if we get invaded by a caveman, we would never. But we would never be invaded by a Stone Age culture.
The Sanjoa Savage, Sanjoa, thank you, man, for $20. Says we need to mass eject paper Americans, to borrow a phrase from Pastor Louis. Hey, fuck yeah. Mass expatriation is a necessity to save my state and the nation. And anybody arguing otherwise is stupid. Yeah, this obviously is untenable. These people are a total net drain on society. We're gonna see. I'm gonna show you a clip of the Democrats, lefties, saying what they always end up really meaning by this, which is that why do you need immigrants? So why do you need poor immigrants so desperately that you are willing to go out in the streets and fight for them when they will not fight for themselves, is what I'm seeing here, because they don't want to get deported. Okay? Why do you need them so badly? And the answer is, they're slaves. They are political slaves. They are social slaves. They are cultural slaves. And they are economic slaves, most importantly. Stitch them up tight. I don't want to pay a lot for my fucking gardener. That's what it's about.
We're here to help the help.
It is but I mean, for a lot of them, that's not the only thing it's about. It is also about replacement. It is also about creating a very, very reliant client class of people who are reliant upon the state. This is all, it is all, you know, it all works in their favor to have these people around. So here's Maxine Waters.
Everyone's favorite comically evil, like, bin bag.
I mean, James Brown has been melting for 25
James
years.
Brown, they say black don't crack, but it does melt.
Those who
Aretha Franklin in the microwave.
step with what we are advocating, peaceful protest, did not create any violence. Nobody was shot, nobody was killed. Get it in your head. And so, when martial law is called, what are you going to say? I missed the point. Don't
look. She's setting them up. When martial law is called, which is what they want Trump to do, they wanted him to send in the Marines so that they could cry victim over it. Every single fucking time. Look at Trump is a tyrant. Trump is a tyrant. Look at what he's doing. She's telling you the fucking plan right from the book. Right here.
It's really easy to play chicken with someone's lives when it's not your own life.
Of course not. Yeah, she doesn't give a fuck.
Don't miss the point, you all. Don't think that somehow, because they called out the National Guard, there was violence. There was no violence. I was on the street.
No, you weren't on the street, by the way. We're going to show
Bitch, you
that.
can barely walk 100 yards in a straight line.
There were burning cars. There was property damage. That is violence. But then she I think, is this the line where she says it was 1 or 2 or maybe 3 people? Look, I've spent the last, 45 minutes going through those videos and saying that this looks fake and gay to me. But there certainly was some damage and you know, violence occurring. And the state of California clearly does not want to do anything about it because they actively want it to happen. So yeah, that's why you get the Marines called in on you.
I know. And I went from downtown detention back out into the community, talking to people what happened in Paramount, what happened in Compton, what happened in Inglewood. So, first of all,
Oh yeah, sure you've been to Compton lately.
and don't just rely on what you're being told or the few incidents that you saw.
You don't believe your lying eyes. Very cool.
When's the last time the police were in Compton by choice?
Yeah, I don't know about that. Yep. Yeah. Just reminding us of how cool he could be, but isn't Trump. Yeah, exactly. Trump's nowhere near this cool. They always try to make him sound so much cooler than
her little
he is.
speech here, you know what it reminds me of? The exact tone. How much could a banana cost really? $10?
Oh, right, yes.
Lucille doing anything.
How much? Right. Hang on 1 second.
Do not show the clip from Arrested Development, we'll get shit canned.
No, fuck no. We'll get shit canned for that. But this is the other Maxine Waters.
Wasn't got time for Bill to go on a drink for apparently.
I do.
Shame her! Shame her!
Don't shame me. It would take me forever. Crawl up and down the stairs. Have you seen this spoon? Oh man, Spoon has left the building. What did she up to? You gotta come up here to say the slur. Thank you, Bill.
Why not?
No, don't do it. It'll come out of my microphone. It'll be my fault. Anyway, here's this. This is pretty funny.
No.
Wow.
I want you to... Hello. Congresswoman Waters. I just came to use my congressional authority to check on David.
I just showed up here to use my congressional authority. This is in the middle of the riot.
Excuse me, I need to get in. Contact our public affairs. I need to get in.
She shows up in her sweatpant jogging suit. But her hair is all done, of course. Curious that, right? I want to look like I'm just going to do my job in my sweatpants while my makeup and hair are all done. Sure. Oh, I'm not being allowed in the building. There's a fucking riot on that you have said is not a riot.
What are you hoping
This is so fucking performative.
I just want to see David Werta. Right.
God, she fucking... Dude, it's pathetic.
Would a congressperson normally be able to enter the...
Normally, yes. What is happening here?
But no, but right now is not a normal time, despite your claims to the contrary. And despite my a little bit blowing this stuff off as not a proper happening. It's still a state of emergency that there's people outside burning cars and looting buildings. Oh, I forgot to mention this. It was I mentioned the Apple Store stuff, but apparently what they did with the Apple products is that if new phones were turned on within a certain radius, they had it set up so that it would flash a message on the screen saying like something is like stealing isn't cool or something like that, and the phone is otherwise bricked. From my understanding of that. So that, I mean, at least I guess Apple knows that they are the target. It's not the grocery stores. It's not the Father's Day gift and bookstore combinations. It's Apple stores and designer clothing stores, shoes and watches and shit like that, I suppose. I don't even know they even like watches. Probably more these kinds of people out here rioting. Maybe not. Probably just more like designer handbags and stupid shit like that.
Well, there were some of the authorities, I don't know who they were, and I'm trying to get in to see David Werta, who they have arrested. He is the head of SEIU local union here. I don't know why he was targeted.
Maybe he did crimes, Maxine. Union leader doing crimes? That's unheard of.
I don't know what they're doing with him. I don't know whether they're going to deport him. I want to report back to my caucus about what's happening, but they have...
Yeah, Svenby, I figured it was something like that. All phones have built-in OEM backdoors that allow them to be disabled and alert the police. Yeah, I assume it was something along those lines. But it's the first time I'd heard of that happening, though. That it was just like in a whole area, I guess, of any new phones turned on from this location. In the next couple hours, it's just going to brick itself. So yeah, very performative for Maxine Waters. Oh, I just so happen I need to show up to save this innocent union organizer, and I've shown up in my fucking tracksuit to do so with my hair and makeup all did. Sure thing. I'm such a victim. Oh my god, okay. Alright. Cory Booker retweeted this video, saying, "Immigrants are essential to the backbone of our economy. Mass deportations and cruel policies against hardworking families don't make us safer or stronger. They weaken us." I've been really clear that I don't see a whole hell of a lot of actual Mexicans out there protesting. It seems to be a lot of, as Hassan Piker said, his fans, affluent, rich white kids with more time than they know what to do with, and a lot of pent-up anger. But he retweeted this video, and it is one of the most obnoxious things I've seen in a while. Spoon, are you awake? Wake up, I want to annoy you, Spoon. Oh my god. He chooses now. I guess he has chosen most of this podcast.
Wake up, Joe Biden.
Joe Biden, wake up. Fine, Bill, I'll torture you with it instead. I already watched it, so misery loves company. And I
went for a piss with the fun ladder.
Sorry.
Hey, Viv, these mass deportations are going to help out real Americans, right?
I'm going to stop you right there. First
of
all, if
my god.
families being ripped apart does not appeal to your humanity, let me try and appeal to you financially, because...
Hey, where are the families being ripped apart? Exactly. The vast majority of these people are working military-age men. Okay, let's start out with that. But go ahead, spill the tea, sis.
These mass ICE deportations are bad for the economy.
Oh, are they?
So while undocumented immigrants actually make up a really small portion of the overall workforce...
yeah, because they're undocumented.
They are overrepresented in jobs that you do not want. Things that have little benefits.
Every time. I would like a slave, please. I don't want to have to pay money for my Temu crap. I know.
And what have we learned about her profession? She's HR.
Oh, yeah.
So she sees people like as resources to spend.
Yes. Right.
You're watching this, like, and she's also got the jitters from Adderall use. You notice that?
She's on something, seems like it.
For example, 42% of the agricultural workforce, 23% of the construction workforce are undocumented. And let's be real, these are self-reported numbers, so those are probably light. But the short of it all is that the food that you eat and the home that you live in was probably brought to you by someone who is an immigrant. The Made in America for Americans tagline, yeah, it's actually made by immigrants. Not only are these mass ICE deportations going to result in a tax revenue loss of over $1 trillion every...
Oh my... They don't pay taxes! They don't pay fucking taxes! What the fuck? How can you even make that argument?
They're getting paid under the table. They legally have to be.
They make your shit cheaply, so you should... It's the exact same brain-dead argument that well, don't you like Indian food, so you must accept infinite Indians. No. No, just because something is cheaper does not make it better. At some point, you have to care about what is your country, what is your nation, and then you end up into a ship of Theseus argument, don't you? Some things matter more than how cheap it is to have a Armenian on a bicycle deliver my fucking Indian food to me. And my Temu fucking crap. Some things are more important than that. And you know that too. This is a fucking... I don't even know why they still use this argument. It completely... it completely falls apart under the slightest scrutiny.
Every single year, get ready to wait longer at your favorite restaurant.
Great.
You're going to see a shortage in...
Look at the things! You must accept infinite immigrants, because if you don't, it might take longer for you to get your food from at a fancy restaurant, or from your Uber or Lyft driver. These are things worth sacrificing your civilization for.
Lyft drivers,
and futures of your children.
Order people, and you are going to see prices for meat, seafood, dairy, and produce all go up at your grocery store. If you are not deeply disturbed watching...
Why? I mean, honestly, if you're talking about farm laborers, they're gonna have to hire more Americans, yeah. But the other thing is that a lot of this stuff is being rapidly replaced with automation. It's not entirely there. But it would force those employers to have to pay higher wages, yes, probably, to be able to employ Americans. Because I do not believe that Americans are willing to
simulate the automation industry.
Wages. But you cannot have it both ways. Either the same people that advocate for raises in the minimum wage consistently, and also advocate for illegal immigrants who will take those minimum wage jobs. So you can't have it both fucking ways. You can't raise the minimum wage, which raises the price of goods. And the only way that Americans will work these jobs is if you make the price incentive, if you incentivize them with a high enough wage to do it. And then also import infinity immigrants.
You notice how they never try and argue that there's no one available to do it?
No, it's just that, it is true, I think, absolutely, it is true that American citizens are not willing to work slave labor for slave prices. Which is because people are undocumented, you do not have to pay them minimum wage. You have to really pay them much of fucking anything. Honestly, you can just say, I'll get La Migra on your ass if you don't do what I tell you. Because they're undocumented, for people, again, who claim to care so much about human welfare, it is an incredibly rife opportunity for exploitation. These people cannot advocate for themselves legally in any capacity because they are illegal. Good lord.
If someone is living outside the law, they are outside the fucking law.
Yeah.
It can't help them either.
Unidentifiable masked officers throw hardworking...
The mask stuff, see, I'm telling you, I picked up on something with this mask thing. I started to see it everywhere.
One thing they can unify left and right on.
Which is digital ID shit. Make it so that your face is your ID, so that everywhere you fucking go, you're being tracked. Yeah. There it is.
People into unmarked vans. I plead with you to assess why that might be. And ultimately, if you still can't come up with a reason to care, I ask you to be selfish and know that what is bad for these people you don't seem to care about is also bad.
You don't care about them, and it is not bad for you to not want your country to be inundated with people who do not fucking care about it, who do not owe it allegiance, who see it only as a way to improve their own status in life by getting more money and then usually getting the fuck out. These people send a huge amount of their money back home.
Which destabilizes their economy.
Yes.
Now, the people living locally can't compete with the people who are working abroad.
And they can't compete with people who will work for less than minimum wage.
Well, people back when they come from, they're having to, okay, I'll try and buy a house. I'm bidding against someone who makes 10 times what I do because they go off to work in an affluent country at what's considered a slave wage there. But back home, we can't compete. So the only way to get ahead in life and to have any kind of base of stability is to be a slave to a foreign country.
Yeah. So this has been Gavin Newsom's response. And I have to say, every time I see the flag of California, I always just think about the new California Republic flag. And I think about how much better things could be. By that I mean,
If only we could
wasteland.
Where are we going to find an Italian LARPer on such short notice?
Oh, they're about. Let's get. You have to get a LARPer. Get Metatron. That'd be based. Oh, that's low. Hang on. There we go.
Failed dictators have done in the past. Look, this isn't just about protests here in Los Angeles. When Donald Trump sought blanket authority to commandeer the National Guard, he made that
blanket authority as is his right as commander-in-chief of the U.S. Armed Forces. You dumb shit. God, it's so insufferable that they will just go out here and say things that are so blatantly untrue while virtue signaling. And it is so fucking tiresome. I know that you're lying, Gavin. You know that you're lying. That's why this whole thing is fucking boring. To quote Az. It's so fucking boring.
That order applied to every state in this nation. This is about all of us. This is about you. California may be first, but it clearly will not end here. Other states are next. Democracy is next.
Wait, oh no, he said the fucking thing. Where is it? Oh, he said it again.
Democracy is under assault before our eyes. This moment we have feared.
Wait, he said it again.
Has arrived. He's taking a wrecking ball to our founding fathers' historic project. 3 co-equal branches of independent government.
Yeah, and you may know that the chief executive is also in charge of the military. You know, commander-in-chief. Yeah, that was part of that distribution of powers across the 3 branches, Gavin.
There are no longer any checks and balances.
Oh my God.
Is nowhere to be found.
What a silly...
Speaker Johnson has completely abdicated that responsibility. The rule of law has increasingly been given way to
the rule of law has been given away? Really? Well, Los Angeles is on a very, let's say it's smoldering. It's always a little bit on fire. It's smoldering a bit hotter than usual in the last week. Yeah, stop saying the word thank you, Rep. Bartholomew Cheesington for the 2. God, it's so fucking insufferable. But the Department of Homeland Security has a message back for Gavin Newsom, which first he posts the fucking, oh my God, you can't even make this shit up. He posts a Star Wars meme. Our love for America is stronger than their hatred. This tweet from Stephen Miller saying, the insurrectionist mobs will be defeated. Our love for America is stronger than their hatred. Sovereignty will be restored. The illegals will be returned. Our way of life will prevail. So he's portrayed him as Darth Sidious. Not Sidious. What's this guy's name? Bill?
General Grievous.
General Grievous. Not Darth. Yeah, dude. I don't know. I wasn't really prepared to think about Star Wars in this segment, but I forgot.
You're the one who brought up Vulcans.
Well, true. See, I was in a Star Trek mindset. That's my excuse.
Insurrectionist mobs will be defeated. Our love for America is stronger than their hatred. Sovereignty will be restored.
This is so...
The illegals...
Holy shit. Read another book. Watch another movie. Oh my God.
Why would you pick General Grievous, who's the coolest person in the entire fucking prequels?
I know. The Queen, by far the coolest character in the prequels.
Will prevail.
That's really great. Very cool, Gavin. What a fucking loser. But, however, the Department of Homeland Security responded with the "Don't make me tap the sign Simpsons" meme, saying liberals don't know things, they don't read history, they don't obsess over stats, the few data points they do see they forget, their entire world is driven by the consumption of fiction. Thank you. Yes, it is. This is just like my space monk movie, my weird sexless space monk film.
Now, I'll say this. You do occasionally see 2 institutions pop up on Twitter. Very rarely do they get in like a tag in assist from another meme account. Like Mimetic Service. Jesus Christ, what a fucking crossover this one is.
Yeah. I mean, look, I didn't like Trump posting a lot of the AI memes. I thought that was very cringe. I think this is cringe too, but I like it.
No,
I occasionally like things that are cringe. I like this.
The use of an actual, like, on Twitter
Yes, it's a real
thing,
account,
I think,
yeah.
saves it.
I think that's exactly it. That improves it a lot for me.
And it's used in context, it's not misused like most boomerisms are.
Yes, it's used correctly. Because that is a
that's
sign-tapping tweet. So, here's the state of things, though, is that the DHS announces it will forgive failure to depart fines for illegal aliens who self-deport through the CBP Home app. So you could use a fucking app. So, an illegal alien can be fined nearly $1,000 a day if they don't depart after final deportation order. Additionally, an illegal alien can also be fined for failing to depart in a timely manner after voluntary departure order. DHS has issued over 9,000 fine notices to illegal aliens for a total cost of almost $3 billion. You're never gonna see a fucking peso of that, and you know it. I mean, obviously.
Well, the whole point of it is just to give them, like, some kind of leverage to argue in the press.
I guess. Here's what they've changed it to. Illegal aliens who use the CBP Home mobile app to self-deport can also receive cost-free travel and a $1,000 exit bonus paid after their return is confirmed on the app. So then they can ditch that phone, buy a new one, cross the border again, and rinse, repeat.
But here's the thing, for some of the folk who've been smuggled in, it's like, oh, well, I can't do that. I'll go home to a 20 grand debt to the fucking cartels. And they'll cut my fucking hands off.
Yeah. Well, now you've got some money. You can come back and get some more. Ridiculous. True conquered nation shit. Well, we're gonna pay you to... Look, I like the, here's $100 to fuck off. I love the meme as much as anyone else. I love Trailer Park Boys. But that is fucking conquered nation shit. It really is.
Well, what do you think fucking foreign aid is? Oh, here, Pakistan, here's a fucking $1 billion so you can
fuck off.
Help yourself. And not definitely just us paying you to not be cunts. Like you always are, regardless.
The border is closed. It's been down by 95%. That's because right now is not a good time to come back in. But these people were probably thinking, and I would be thinking this if I were in their position. This might require some forward planning, though, which might be difficult. Okay, I'll wait till the heat on the immigration thing goes down a little bit, cross over again, see if I can get some more money. Although, either way, it's not going to keep them out. You're rewarding them for committing a crime. You are rewarding them with a flight, let's be clear about what that is, with paid airfare, or maybe a bus, depending on how close you are, and $1,000 for breaking the law. Just to be clear.
You could take a bus that costs maybe $100 all the way into American territory and then just get paid $1,000 to fuck back off.
Yeah. Dem representative who declared that she's an illegal, then recanted, could face 2 huge legal disasters. So this is actually like a multi-part story, which is a little bit funny. You have to give it to Minnesota Democrat state rep Kaoli Vang. I guess that's how you pronounce that. Kaoli?
That's it.
Kaoli Vang her.
Jesus wept.
Excuse me. For someone who holds a rather minor position in our national political discourse, she's managed to score the biggest self-own since Senator Cory Booker's Spartacus moment. For those of you who've forgotten, during Brett Kavanaugh's Supreme Court nominations hearings in 2018, before the Democrats unleashed a specious, unsupported allegation of sexual assault against him, the New Jersey senator attempted to stall the nominee by calling for the release of classified documents regarding what he had written on racial profiling at airports in the wake of 9/11. Booker said that he would risk getting kicked out of the Senate for releasing the documents before declaring, this is the closest I'll get to an I am Spartacus moment, referencing the scene from 1960s film. Wait, was she involved with this? No, why did you... I hate this. You just went on this tangent about this shit Cory Booker did fucking 5 years ago. More than that, 8 years ago.
I'll bulk out the article, yes.
Rep her is nowhere near the national name that Booker is, but the lawmaker's I am illegal in this country speech has given her at least some brief, if well-deserved attention. So one of these should have the links, yes, to it. Here it is.
Because his mother had died, my father, as the one processing the paperwork, put my grandmother down as his mother. And so I am illegal in this country. My parents are illegal here in this country.
You dumb bitch. This is why they're now actually out on the streets. This is why it's American citizens who like Hassan Piker and drink lots of Dr. Pepper and eat shit that's on the banned list, as long as they don't do it in front of a fucking camera, are the ones out there doing it, not people who are actually undocumented, residents of the country, whatever you want to call them, who are not illegal aliens. You just fucked yourself. So stupid to do this shit. She's backtracked from this, by the way. Where did she, yes, where did it, here we go. She said she blames her father for lying to her. I mean, I guess she knows her dad. That sets her apart from a lot of the people she's trying to empathize with here. Her later confessed to the Minnesota Reformer that she exaggerated her background in order to inspire empathy in her Republican colleagues who were about to vote to take away the state-funded health care for adults in Minnesota without permanent legal status. In other words, the Democrat was trying to gaslight Minnesota taxpayers into continuing to fund free health care for illegal aliens. Because I'm just like you guys. But you're not supposed to admit to that kind of shit. That's not how it works. So, of course, you know, everyone's like, well, then she needs to be deported, and she definitely can't serve in the fucking government. In response to the firestorm, Kaylee Herr quickly backtracked, insisting that she and her parents are American citizens. Herr told the Minnesota Reformer that she is a refugee from Laos who was moved to the U.S. when she was 3 years old, but her parents became U.S. citizens when she was in middle school. Because Herr was a minor at the time, she automatically became a citizen when her parents were naturalized. Herr then sold her dad down the river by admitting he committed fraud in order to expedite the asylum process by doing the following. Falsely claiming he was a refugee. I thought this never happened, guys. She's admitting to it here. Falsely claiming that he was a refugee. While working at the U.S. consulate, illegally processed his own family's paperwork to rush approval, falsely claimed he was related to a friend who worked at U.S. Aid. It's obvious Herr threw her dad under the bus in order to deflect personal responsibility from his immigration fraud, and she claimed his immigration fraud too.
And in doing so, she's blown the whistle on a bunch of internal fucking chicanery of people doing shit like this, like people in-house corruption at immigration. Prioritizing people illegally.
Yeah. I can't believe she just admitted all this shit, though. What a dumbass. Look, and also, you're Asian. You're Laotian. Are you Chinese or Japanese?
No, he ain't. He's Laotian. Ain't you, Mr. Khan?
Ain't you, Mr. Khan?
The look of terror, the look of concern, like, I rent. Cotton Hill says that, and Khan just looks.
Can identify ethnicities from 500 yards.
Well, he was in the Pacific Theatre, he kind of had to.
He can do a phrenology check from a football field away.
Get the man a go around. Like
the bottom line is, Kaylee Herr committed a major unforced error with her initial claim that she's an illegal alien, and then with her absurd backtracking. She inadvertently exposed how foreign nationals abuse the asylum process by making false claims of refugee status in order to gain U.S. residency and citizenship right fucking there.
She is an example of every excess of the system that she's supporting.
Yes, of course she supports it. She benefits from it ceaselessly. Although, not really. Asians tend to be very far down on the progressive stack. Apparently, she seems very clueless, so maybe she wasn't aware of that either. Lady, they don't know what Laos is, okay? The people you're appealing to? Yeah, I mean, no one does, for the most part.
The only people who can tell who's who anymore is us racists. We're keeping the fucking torch alive for you cunts.
I remember this. Yes.
Leased out the hotel for 3 years for $220 million.
This was
That you'll lose sight of who you are so much.
To provide migrant accommodations and services. Now we wanted to discover what other things we could obtain.
I forget whose video
this was. The Roosevelt Hotel.
But I remember this video.
So I walk in, guys like, okay, so what are you doing here? I'm like, oh, I'm looking for asylum.
It's O'Keefe? Yeah.
¿Tienes su documento de inmigración?
No, lo que dije al señor que perdí todo en el camino entre Texas y no.
No, I said to the gentleman, I lost everything on my way from Texas to New York. I don't have anything. Do you have an ID? No, I don't have anything. You don't have anything. Nothing. No.
Talking to, I guess, a supervisor. Yeah, just go ahead and register him.
Yes, register.
You can tell even the black guy's like, I'm not sure about this.
Yeah, he's got absolutely nothing.
Want refuge in New York? Or do you want us to fly you to another state or another city?
He does look like a little bit like Oh, the other guy who's on trigonometry that's not Constantine. I always forget his name. The Turbo Anglo. You want shelter or a flight? A flight, for example, if you have a family member in the state, in the country, they can buy a flight to get you to your family. Shelter's fine for now. Okay, for now.
He goes, oh, well, if you have family in like another city, we'll pay for your flight. The government will pay for it.
I was recording with the fucking PSP for a second there, and I nearly had a heart attack.
Foster, thank you. Thank you, Tiger. I knew someone would remember his name. I always forget it for some reason. Constantine's just a very memorable name, obviously, so I can remember that one.
Well, a would-be refugee kind of looks like Player 2 Colors John Oliver.
Francis Foster, yes. You come back here without a problem, we can buy you a ticket.
So in a post-9/11 America, a man who claims he is from a foreign country can secure a taxpayer-funded plane ticket and receive
I mean, yeah, this is years old.
ID.
I'm in the system. That's my number. And they gave me this. They had me sign it, and I was about to get the medical exam.
It's all digital now.
Yeah, this is kind of like, I guess this is kind of like my temporary ID for here.
Adulto.
It looks like it was written in fucking crayon.
It was written in marker, yeah. It gives it a crayon appearance.
These are used to gain entrance into homeless migrant shelters, including at a place called Randall's Island.
Hellgate, New York City.
Hellgate, yeah.
Yeah, sounds right.
You know.
Along the journey, I was looking for people with virtue, but it seemed around every corner was greed and graft and
Constantine containment, bro.
I was filled with dread about what lay at the end of the
He's half Argentinian. I didn't know that about Francis.
I can't tell, weirdly enough, with the hairline.
No, not James O'Keefe. Constantine Cousin's co-host, Francis Foster.
I would need to be punched in the gut a few more times.
So this is where they end up right here. This footbridge right here takes you over.
yeah, that paper that they gave him, Adulto. Here you go. It's very papers, please. Try taking that to the border with you.
Island, where thousands of illegal
Uno dolo, por favor.
But right up here, you see the shelter and some workers there through the green fence. Hey guys, what is going on in there?
A shelter.
A shelter for who? Homeless migrants? Am I allowed to just go in there as an American citizen and get a bed?
You just got here. Today our first day, bro. Gotta go around.
They're taking a shit.
It's just a guy taking a shit.
We're just taking a walk.
No. I literally saw you.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. What the f am I doing? I'm taking a walk. Why would you curse at me like that? What the f am I doing?
This guy is what? He has an accent. He is not a Native American in any sense. He's not native to the United States, very clearly. He is sticking with people who are his kin, whether or not they are, actually related to him, they're from the same country or not. People group into identity groups. They always do. Social identity is key to everyone. So this guy's going to tell him to fuck off, obviously. Because he has more in common with the people that he's protecting here. That's just how society works, man.
I'm a citizen taking a walk through the soccer park.
Citizen trying to trespass.
How is it trespassing? I'm just on the soccer. How so?
What's that?
Hello. The NYPD are fans of ours.
Like the other people he talked to, that was their first day. They just didn't appear to have any idea, but this guy, yeah,
But
he knows who he sides with.
They too
Many such cases
aren't doing anything about the problems.
Yeah. Her also spotlighted how migrants lie about having family members in the U.S. in order to expedite their bogus asylum claims. Yup. Say, well, I'm just gonna go stay with my family. I mean, astonishing level of self-ownage here. In rapid speed. Well, I'm an undocumented migrant. Actually, it's my dad, and actually he did all this shit that is like the actual fucking list of every criticism that I hear mainstream Republicans complain about when it comes to migrants and how they abuse the system. Claim to be a refugee. Illegal, bypass the system in order to rush approval any place that you can. Claim that you are related to a friend who works at USA. Claim you have friends or family in the country that you're just visiting or whatever. and just went by the exact playbook.
It's also tiresome.
It really fucking is. So she could be in legal trouble for this, though. I highly doubt it. Libs at TikTok points it out here, but will she get in any way charged with anything? No. Nothing ever happens.
But if she did get deported, it would be really funny.
It would be really funny if she got deported to Laos. I just highly doubt it. Hey, Kizza. The riots happen in LA. Okay, I think this is a good thread. Not just because I agree with the premise. I do not think they are organic nor spontaneous either. They're designed to look chaotic to cover up the fact that they are well-funded, exceptionally organized, and carried out by well-trained activists using intelligent, highly developed tactics. Here's a primer. It was a pretty good thread, I thought. There's some pictures. First, notice the protesters have shields. The types of shields were used by the 2024 pro-Hamas rioters in Pick 2, and 2020 BLM rioters in Pick 3. It's the same fucking shields repainted, potentially. Each shield takes 3 hours to make, and activists spend all day making them. Pick 4. That's not spontaneous. It takes planning. Yeah, it's not just
It's a bit of a barrel. How much time can it fucking take? I can knock one of these together in half an hour.
Well, like, these ones are clearly mass-produced, and they gave them to them to paint. You know? They probably didn't even give them to them to paint. They probably just handed them out. Here's your designated fucking sign. In total, each shield takes about 3 hours to make and requires passing through multiple groups of volunteers before it's finished. All materials and time to produce... This is just a random tweet. Time to produce them is donated, and the shields are offered free of charge to BIPOC protesters and $10 for everyone else. Ghost, Viv, and the volunteers have made 250 shields so far and built between 30 and 55 shields made per session. I think his conclusions here will not be mine, but it definitely illustrates the coordination behind this shit. The shields are not cardboard signs. They are designed to look like cardboard signs. They are in fact made of plywood and have metal handles, as seen in the pics below. They have a cardboard sign attached to the front to disguise the fact that they are made of wood. Yep. Obviously, if you have a real paper sign, you know, it will crumble and stuff. Fuck the LAPD, they made us drop our shields that were made of cardboard and boogie boards, declared them weapons, then corner is a tunnel and started charging at us and shooting left and right while we were... Yeah, sure, they were shooting at you. These are the so-called weapons. Well, here you do have some cardboard signs.
Look at the one that's underneath the backpack, though, in the foreground. That's got a metal frame.
This one looks like it's got a fucking metal pan on it.
It's got a panel.
Yeah. Hill 451 for 10 says, Adulto may well also have the following phrases on the paper. Does this ID look real? Will you help me push my car? And where's the nearest Home Depot? Yeah, pretty much. In 2020, these shields were brought in and distributed to rioters in organized drops. In LA, we see the same strategy. They hand out protective equipment to rioters, who then use them in their attacks. Note the same Home Depot bucket in picks 2 and 3.
They came with a goddamn U-Haul for war.
Yeah, Summer of Love. I remember this shit. Handing out the shields.
So you actually see they came this way for a strategy. You gotta actually see that they came here for a strategy, why they came this street, okay? This shit is really organized, you guys, alright? You guys, this shit is really organized. I said like that.
God, it literally is just like quarter-inch thick.
Just handed them out. Yeah.
People that don't even know where they should go.
Some white people who didn't know where to go. They couldn't follow the scent of anarchy as easily. And violence. Yeah. Yeah, thanks, Soros. Whoops.
Yeah, it's just hand over a bunch of shits people didn't know how to use them. This way
Please wear Yeah. Please wear personal protection equipment to the LA protests. You need a helmet. You need a mask respirator. You need goggles. We need masks. Yeah. They do always have masks. And like I said, the mask thing, I'm paying attention to it. I've clocked it. So free PPE tonight. We're handing out respirators, helmets, masks, goggles. You can pick it up and receive medical attention at the Skid Row Museum. Lovely. Last night, I got $500 worth of supplies and have dropped off in Paramount. This morning, I got $1,800 worth and brought it to the City Hall. Just now, I got $1,500 worth and brought it to Skid Row Museum. All the funds were donated to me by this super family KC community. Anyway, what is this last picture of again? Local.
See, this is how you know there were no Mexicans there. Because they had to go to Home Depot rather than starting off there to begin with.
It might be the same Home Depot bucket, man. It's very possible. It's just another random Home Depot bucket.
If there was a single fucking Mexican there, everyone knows that's Firelink's shrine for Mexicans. If they touch down in America, that's where they spawn.
It isn't just the shields that are planned, everything is. From what riders wear to the tactics used in each situation. They're implementing highly developed theory of protest. Highly developed. It's not. It is pretty simple. You incentivize people to go out and riot, protect them so they won't face any repercussions for it, and they'll go do it.
Having seen those shields, I can guarantee you didn't fucking learn fuck all.
Yeah.
Those are the most yee-ass, insta-splittable fucking shields I've ever seen in my goddamn life.
Mark Hamill is looking rough these days.
Oh my god, I know. To see how this works, we need to understand the tactics they're using. The first strategy is to put their target into a decision dilemma by implementing a method of protest that leaves the person with no good options. No matter how the target reacts, they look bad. Here it is. Principle. Put your target in a decision dilemma. Apparently that is not Mark Hamill, but Cindy Sheehan. In sum, design your action so that your target is forced to make a decision, and all their available options play to your advantage. If you design your action well, you can force your target into a situation where they have to respond but have no good options, where they're damned if they do, damned if they don't. In fact, many actions with concrete goals, such as blockades, sit-ins, require such a decision dilemma in order to be successful. Consider the blockade of a building. A tactically effective blockade leaves your target with only two options: negotiate and meet your demands, or react with force, violence against you, or arrest. That's a decision dilemma. Don't let your target walk out the back door, and don't put yourself in a situation where they can wait you out with impunity. You must force a clear decision dilemma. Without it, you let your target and or the police determine the success of your action, rather than calling the shots yourself. Be sure to cover the exits, literally or figuratively. I mean, every fucking year with this stuff. It is a clear playbook, and it is crazy that they actually...
And an extraordinarily accelerationist.
Yes.
It's coming from me.
Strategy is paired with real action as your target's reaction, in which rioters use people's reactions to the protests against them. That's what and it's working. All the people freaking out and being like, oh, we need to not just call the Marines, but we need to, this is, the country is on fire. I had someone message me who said, like, this is a civil war, or America is on the brink of collapse via civil war because of this. And no offense to the guy. He's a younger dude, and it was just, I had that very much like first time reaction, of, oh, don't worry about it, you'll get used to it. They do this every year. During the Salt March 1930, blah, blah, blah. Contrary to popular belief, when one of the big boys threatens you, and if you use a company's trademark in an action, for example, you can count on a cease and desist later. You should celebrate. You are the David to their Goliath, and now you have the upper hand. Take their best quotes, weave them into a press release, and voila, you've cast them in your play. So, yes, almost like, we're gonna go outside and wave a bunch of Mexican flags for this. And Palestine ones. That person didn't get the memo. Jesus Christ. The final move is lead with sympathetic characters. They put sympathetic people out in front to garner sympathy, and make them look like sympathetic underdogs fighting an uphill battle. This is why they brought a baby to the protest. It was an international pre-planned move. They did, yep, I'm sure you heard about this. Woman's kid got maced, I think. Why did you bring a fucking toddler?
Well, now you know why. They brought their child there to get maced, so they can sacrifice their child's well-being for the cause.
Right, and that's why I'm asking the question.
You're not even getting paid for this.
Nothing else makes sense. Well, they might be, right? But
would
exactly that.
Is there an amount of money you could get paid to let someone mace your child?
Your child. That's what I was about to ask. Can you? What is wrong?
Unless that's not her child. That's just the one that got put down in the papers.
But absolutely possible.
Absolutely fucking likely. Someone might have just asked out to the cartels, see if they got anyone spare. They could just trot out in front as fucking target practice for the feds.
As is always the case with cry bullies like this, yes? They don't actually give a fuck about any of the things they claim to. Like I've talked about in the research on dark side of morality stuff, it's very clear that people who lean to the left are driven entirely by self-interest. I'm not saying that because I lean to the right or whatever. I'm saying that because that's what the data illustrate consistently, time and time again. They will sacrifice their own wealth even just so long as they have more than someone else. And that is all this is about. They will sacrifice the welfare of their child to get the pointless political thing that they want in that second. And a lot of people probably don't even know why they're so fired up about this stuff. because they fall into, you know, these echo chambers where they just get, oh, everyone is dying, and some of that works too. But the more savvy among them do only see this as opportunism. I can help the cause by sacrificing my child, and that is truly revolting. I know we're supposed to feel revolted that the child got maced, but my question is, why was the child there? And that's why. To make yourself into a victim. Putting it all together by blocking a road, using benches as barricades, they give the authorities no option but to use force. But by having a baby, they force the police into an impossible situation. Using force without harming the baby, it puts police into an impossible situation. The principle at work behind the entire strategy is to play the audience that isn't there. Activists, which hence all the fucking cameras, play to the audience that isn't there. Activists pick their tactics and strategies based on optics. They want to make themselves look like sympathetic underdogs to the audience, seeing it on YouTube or watching it on the news. All of these strategies and tactics are used to create actions which, what does it say in this write-up actually? When you're pulling off a prank or staging some kind of media spectacle, it's important to keep in mind that those you're directly confronting are not your main audience. The idea is to use the immediate audience as unwitting actors in a theater piece that is being performed for a secondary audience. That secondary audience is comprised of film goers or YouTube viewers or TV watchers or press release readers, and they're the ones that you most care about. Design your intervention with them in mind. With most strikes or sit-ins, the key audience is the actual target, a CEO or public official, and your aim is to disrupt business as usual and exact a cost that will pressure the target into accede to your demands. All of these strategies and tactics are used to create actions which activists can turn to their advantage. When they do this correctly, they can paint themselves as the sympathetic, powerless underdogs, even when they are the aggressors. It's social and political jujitsu. I don't know. It's kind of
interesting choice in martial art there.
Yeah. That isn't
What kind of jitsu, sorry, was it?
Yeah, Kirby's air ride intensifies. Really bounces my items. That isn't to say they aren't also intentional in doing damage. They are. In the book Black Bloc, White Riot, Anti-Globalization, and the Genealogy of Dissent by author A.K. Thompson is the starting place for their theory of what counts as violence and when violence is justified.
I mean, I guess when your first initials are AK, you really can't write books about anything other than revolutionary.
And violence. Alec Hundert defended a diversity of tactics, which is, I think, well, that's not really his first name, it's initials. Which is a diversity of tactics, which is a euphemism for allowing violence at protests. Hundert explicitly states a commitment to nonviolence is dogmatic and stifles debate about which tactics to use. Violence is part of the strategy, as you will see. And again, a lot of this stuff does apply to these types of protests in general. I don't even know if it applies to this one, though, because it's so just listless, you know? I'm not saying nothing is happening. Something is happening, but it is so low temperature compared to how it normally is. What does it say here? Let's see. Black Bloc. Yeah, this is all this Black Bloc stuff, which has been around since, again, the 60s. Leftist academics theorize about how violence could be used to build political leverage. Oberlin Oberlin, one of the, if not the most left-leaning college in the United States, if you're not aware. People will think, you know, some college in California or something. No, Oberlin is like extreme far lefty shit, if you're not aware. Jenny Garcia explains how violent protests make it a more salient issue and provide greater pressure on elected officials and candidates.
As a result, I think that there are some good opportunities for actually placing sustained pressure on the institutions themselves and elected officials. So one of the ways that we need to do this is through the continuations of protests. And protests, even when there is violence, right, actually can make it a more salient issue and can provide greater pressure on elected officials and candidates. So being able to place extraordinary pressure on these officials, nominating your own candidates can prove to be highly successful. What we know in political science is protest matters. And actually, when we see destruction of buildings, when we see violence, either by police or either by protesters themselves, we actually see greater response by elected officials.
Just saying the quiet part out loud.
Sustained effort. So even over this 10-day period of time, that's an extraordinary feat. And so when we see this sustained effort, we see elected officials.
By the way, this is not how it actually works. I mean, her hypothesis here is not how it actually functions. You have no power. You do not make anyone except for regular civilian citizens afraid by doing this shit. The people that you think you are doing business with, essentially here, by applying pressure, is the fucking government that can at any point send in, as they are, the military to kick your fucking ass. You know what I mean? This is not an act. They are not the players in this game that they think they are. You are allowed to do this stuff because it is within the interests, the political interests of the people.
Look
who,
to those
for
above
example,
you who
run
command
California.
you, and
Yes.
ask yourself, do I
You are
trust
not.
these people? Are these people people?
They think that they're at the table. They are not. But she's
Do they
convinced
have
of
my...
it.
Ask yourself, people of California, does Gavin Newsom have my best interests at heart?
I'm
With
sure
that
he
fucking
does.
reptilian ass face it is.
Yeah.
Feeling more and more pressure. And while it certainly takes a lot of time and a lot of effort, what we do know is that elected officials do respond to pressure, right? If they feel
No, they were gonna do or not do whatever it is that you wanted in the first place. You breaking shit is either allowed or not allowed. That's it. Depends on the state and the people in the big cities. They make their positions by keeping people in a state of constant fear.
Officials don't bend to pressure, but people will definitely bend to the perception of officials bending to pressure.
That's the whole point. Look, I've acquiesced. And she's
Democracy
convinced
works
it's true.
because I'm
I
wishing
screamed and
something
pitched
and
a
it's
fit.
happening.
Yes, it is very magical thinking in that sense, absolutely. But no, everything that you do is you are being allowed to do. It is granted to you. It is not actually an inalienable right to you for you to do any of this shit. You don't really have any freedoms, not inherently. Freedoms
If
are
you didn't
given
win it with
to
a pointy
you
stick,
by...
it doesn't count as yours.
Yeah, the people who actually have power, which is force, are the ones who dictate what freedoms you possess. That's the state of things. It doesn't matter what fucking political system it exists under. That is just the way that power works. So, sorry. Sorry to burst your bubble on that one. These tactics are not new. Yeah. Obstructive is a euphemism for blocking a road, entrances, and so on, and disruptive is a euphemism for the use of violence and property damage to try and shut things down. Use of sophisticated... It's not sophisticated. Pre-planned violence goes back a long way. It's backed up by a set of academic... Who cares? It's not really backed up by... I'm sure it is backed up by theory. But yes, look, it's just politically expedient. That's it. While you're putting on a little show, which they've identified that part correctly. They have identified that this is all theatrics. It's all fake and gay. But they actually think they're in charge of it, which is the funny part. Is there anything more I want to cover from this? It goes on for quite a... I think we got the
Goodness
the
me,
gist.
they're wordy.
Yeah. No, Wilco does good threads usually. I don't agree with his conclusions very often, but I do have probably I don't know if you've noticed slightly non-mainstream takes on things politically. I not wrong. I obviously don't think, but or I wouldn't be saying them. A lot of people really struggle to understand power politics for some reason, and I think it's because there's a great desire to believe that democracy works. To believe that the process works. People have to believe in it. It's a foundational belief. There's part of their sense of self. So
All that
getting
time
to
you
that
spent in
part
your
of the
youth
question is
thinking what would happen if it all kicked off and it was an apocalyptic event, what I'd do with my friends, you would start thinking like that today.
Yeah.
This is the post-apocalypse.
So
It was
they've
just
got
gay and
their...
homeless.
It is. This is nowhere near as cool as it is in films. It's very, We got, what's the meme? That we got all of the shitty parts of the cyberpunk dystopia and none of the cool parts? Pretty much. Like, just all
No,
the
Pond Smith was on
shitty
point with 2020, I'd say. Look through Cyberpunk 2020's rulebook, it's uncanny.
Was it?
Oh,
Holy
yeah.
shit. I just banged my elbow into the door to the attic next to me.
But I
Really
just heard it,
banged
fucking hell, I thought it'd gone over.
I thought maybe it came through the mic, 'cause just dinged it. Ouch. Well, anyway, speaking
my
of pain,
bones.
here's Jimmy Kimmel.
Please no.
As we always do in our studio in Hollywood, which might be surprising.
Jimmy Kimmel, aka Gay Tom Hanks.
Yeah, Gay Tom Hanks.
Cable news and believe this city is some kind of totalitarian hellscape right now. In most
Everybody clap and laugh. Your city is a totalitarian hellscape 365 days of the year. It's a little bit more on fire the last week. Again, you're talking about a state with 1 million homeless people that we know of. I think it's something like 790,000 or something to that degree. From again,
that's a country's worth of people.
That's the guess. As that woman did point out earlier, the very obnoxious one. Why have been a lot of obnoxious Asians tonight?
That's just the declared, registered ones.
Tom Wanks, yes, sex freakman, good. Tom Wanks, there you go.
Because I want you to see what it's like in Hollywood right now. You won't see
oh wow, in the touristy area.
Full of white people.
Full of
I was literally about to say the same thing.
Armed guards. Because you don't actually want this part of town to get destroyed. Because this part is how you make money. This is where you live. This is where you work.
This is a real let them eat cake kind of bullshit.
Oh, it sure is, isn't it? It
absolutely you know what it specifically is? Remember when Conan posted like, oh, Haiti's so bad right now during the Haiti riots? Mm-hmm. And it was from a fucking like ultra exclusive like 4-star resort on the very point of Haiti that's not open to the public, like all the locals at all. It actually bans the locals from going there. Yeah. It's a fucking private beach, and he's tweeting about how fucking nice it is.
They're all NIMBY fucks, down to the last fucking man. Of course, where you work on a Hollywood lot is fine.
Let's indulge in a bit of fictionalization, like they like to do. Like, welcome to Hollywood, where every institution is the fucking ultralux.
Yeah, well,
and everything that includes.
Yes. Yeah, huh?
We're on television. Not only
why were those two pizzerias right next to each other?
A Disney Pixar movie premiere right now.
Oh wow!
A movie about aliens. Don't tell Trump; he'll send the Green Berets in too. But
God, do people actually listen to this?
If we could deport modern Disney, that would be fantastic. That's actually a good idea.
Like, oh, I do have a thing about that actually. Disney is coping and seething. Did I delete it? I did. I did have this thing up earlier where apparently Disney is going to sue one of the AI companies because people have been making memes with it. You know, obviously AI Disney memes. So they're trying to clamp down on it and say that it's if you make anything with their intellectual property, yeah, they're gonna sue.
Prove it, bitch.
I mean, good luck trying. Also, sue people for fan art, I guess. Although, I do recall, because it's very hard to forget, the time that Marvel threatened to sue the family of a, I believe, like 7-year-old boy who had died of cancer and had a picture of Spider-Man on his grave because we don't want to associate Spider-Man with death. Or was it on the coffin? Oh my god. Yeah, so these are,
now,
you know.
I think that was actually early Disney era.
Was it early Disney Spider-Man?
Yeah, it's post-merger, I think.
Yeah, maybe.
I just want to say thank God for President Trump and the heroes at ICE for protecting us from these bloodthirsty fruit stand vendors spreading their...
Every time. But...
Who will pick the fruit? Who will serve our pret?
Who will pick my fucking avocados so I can buy them for...
this is going to put up the price of houseboys.
To have my fucking avocado toast, because I just have to have my avocado toast. Oh, of course.
Listen, motherfucker, you need to pick a side. You need to pick one faction of Django Unchained to be. You can't be everyone.
Well, you know, I was sitting there for a second trying to think of the name for the hot young Mexican house slave who serves Jimmy Kimmel, but I couldn't. I only name I could come up with was Raul, and that's definitely just because my brain is full of Didier Raul nonsense, so I can't think of a fucking Hispanic name right now. And then I was trying to think of another one, and my brain went to Pierre. My brain has been conquered by the French. I've begun to be able to understand French. This fucking like it is, guys. I've looked at my script now, and this is, by the way. There's a whole other video that I already wrote. It's not completed, but it's about halfway done. And that turned into the Didier Raul script.
Everyone at home, donate if you want to euthanize Aiden for own sake.
It's 23,000 words, and I'm not done. It's going to be 2.5 hours long. I'm sorry. I'm going to try to get it out as fast as possible. But oh my god. I
like to write jokes for this tribe.
The shit that hopefully I'm really excited about this because I've put together some very scandalous shit. Anyway, I can't think of anything but French stuff anymore.
Lost train of thought.
Pineapple chunks and mangoes with a squirt of lime all over the city. We are so grateful.
There we go.
Done. I'm very angry, I have to say. I cannot believe what's going on. I knew it was going to be bad. I did not know it was going to be this bad. People who've lived here their whole lives, people who've been in this city longer than I have,
Felicia.
the vast majority of whom have never done anything wrong or being abducted.
They did do something wrong. They're in this country illegally. That is a crime.
Never should have come here.
Criminals. Prima facie.
Did you ever hear her just go on?
Ben Morrow the Fool for 5 says, Aiden, do you honestly think the deportation payout is real and not just a honeypot to catch gullible morons? No, I think it probably is real. But either way,
it would okay, listen, if it's a federal op to actually grab people, it would cost less to just give them the money to fuck off.
Yeah.
Because organizing an actual sting operation, I'll guarantee you, will cost thousands. Some consultant will want fucking $5,000 in fees by him alone.
Yeah. It probably just is cheaper to hope someone will take it and actually do it, even if it's temporary. Kizza, who's been a member for 29 months, thank you so much, man, says, your king has blessed the stream. I'll be in enemy territory tomorrow. France. Oh, speaking of, oh god, for an event which I'll be streaming on my channel, and how to fix these protests, just send the troops in and watch them submit. Any objections? No, and that appears to be what's happening. You know, Bill, actually, I was just looking this evening, well, before the stream, about how much it would cost for us to go to Marseille.
Would you go to France?
You want to take a? We just get on the.
I wouldn't
go
to France.
We could get on the ferry. We could do a trip to Marseille. I could go film around the university.
I have to wait, unfortunately. I need to get my passport renewed.
Oh, is your passport expired? Well, we'll talk about that later. But let's talk about it. If you want to do like a couple-day trip to France.
I do not want to go to
cool.
France. No.
I don't want to go to France either. That's not true. Some food. I might want to try some. You know.
You imbecile! We can just buy it locally.
Marseille. It's Marseille too. It's like the prettiest part of France.
No such thing.
Anyway, back to this idiot.
Which is the correct word to use by agents in masks, hiding their identities, grabbing people off the street and at work, sending people to detention centers and to protest.
Maybe
which is not
they
only
shouldn't
our right as Americans,
break
it's
the
our
law.
Responsibility. Los Angelinos have been gathering.
Los Angelinos, is that what they're called?
With very few exceptions, peacefully demonstrate.
Los Angelinos. That sounds really gay. It sounds like a kind of pasta dish. Like spaghetti.
No, Angelinos would be like a cheap, low-rent, like regional. It used to be mom-and-pop pizzeria, but got bought out by yuppies like 10 years ago and never really recovered.
I'm surprised they don't call themselves Los Angelites. Sounds like mites.
Or the Angeloi.
Yeah.
To voice their
Angelo would be the most accurate,
to this
but
disgusting
it's a bad
and
connotation.
unnecessary abuse of power instigated by our mentally ill president, who is dead set on exacerbating this. Who actually wants conflict. Who is
he is. This is it. Wokel did call this. It is forcing the fucking confrontation. Trump does anything about it, so you force him to make a choice. If you engage in any kind of policing of this, then you're a violent tyrant. Oh my god, it's the worst things have ever been. I'm not allowed to go burn shit down and you know, loot stores or whatever. Or just give them what they want. That's it. And look, I don't know what else you do to deal with these people besides fucking deport them and throw them in jail. But I don't want any of the illegals in jail because I don't want to have to pay for it. Honestly, I don't want to have to pay for the useless
they keep trolling up
who
like
are out there protesting too.
Trump's Hitler, Trump's a monster, Trump's out this, that, and the other. Like, if anyone was going to be accused of being Caligula, it should be the left. I mean, I know that AOC is a congresswoman and not a senator, but, you know, the horse is still there.
Dude, it's just, again, I wish Trump was one fraction of the dictator that they act like he is. That would be great, but he's not.
He's just an old boomer Democrat.
Yeah, he's an old boomer Democrat, aka a 2020s Republican. Good God.
Is intentionally inflaming.
And look, I do like Trump, okay? I do like the guy. He's very entertaining. But he's a 1980s Democrat.
Well, to be comparatively entertaining in today's politics, well, what's the fucking bar?
True.
Have you seen the state of some of these assholes that can't string a fucking sentence together?
Yeah.
And lying to make it seem like there's a war going on here. He wants there to be a war going on.
And this is very curious language because they always have done the fiery at peaceful protest shit. But this time it really is fairly nominal comparatively to how it's been in the past. So this is the time to really ramp up that rhetoric. Because then they can say, after the fact, Well, it was only just that one video. These were all from a couple block radius, and really nothing happened. You know, so you all freaked out about nothing. We got to get rid of masks.
On here, and he doesn't care who gets hurt in it. There's a riot outside. We have more so-called unrest here when one of our teams wins a championship. But that's not what you're seeing on TV.
This is fucking pathetic.
Someone sets a fire in a garbage can, 12 camera crews go running toward it. Trump wants...
Who? Key. Who's taking the photos? Bunch of leftoids. No one else lives in fucking California.
It to seem like anarchy, so he goes around our governor and he calls in
Your state is in anarchy
from the National Guard and 700 active duty Marines. You know, when we had the wildfires that devastated big chunks of our city, he did absolutely nothing. Now that we're in the middle of
the state of California was completely unfucking prepared for what are also its yearly fires that aren't caused by protesters. That was, again, the fault of the fucking state of California.
In a region where all the homes are built up to code, supposedly, by migrant workers working at below minimum wage, slave wages.
Aren't you glad you saved all that money?
As you live in your, like, Roman candle of a fucking house.
Yeah, your tinder
it's
box.
It's held together with, like, pin nails and cum.
Cum, yeah.
A tofu judge, my friend.
It's sticky.
Non-emergency, send in the National Guard.
Hey, Mr. President, when is the last time you spoke with Governor Newsom?
It's good enough for desegregation. It's good enough for this.
A day ago.
What did he call him?
Does anyone... That's the first fucking...
I wasn't aware he was allowed to call people that anymore.
Wait, what did he say again?
What's the last thing he said?
What? Oh, there you go.
There you go. You're not allowed to call them that anymore, I don't think.
Just said a slur. Wow.
What a horrible thing to say.
Speaking of wanting to call people slurs, can we let's move on to talking about the two gay dads fighting, which was the biggest fucking nothing burger.
In June, no less.
Yes, to celebrate Pride Month. America's two
Who's
gay
gonna
dads,
get
Elon Musk
JD?
and Donald
Who's
Trump.
gonna get JD in the divorce? Come on.
Yeah, who gets JD? Little JD with his little propeller top. His round face.
His little propeller yarmulke.
Oy vey.
What do you mean you don't want each other anymore?
Daddies are fighting. This was the cringest, gayest psyop I think I've seen yet, though it's certainly up there among the most cringe and gay. So, what this was about, again, what it really is about is money. Elon Musk is going to have to pay a little bit more to get the exact things that he says that he wanted. You know? But he just didn't think they would apply to him, I guess. So, my hypothesis on this is, as I said in the beginning, I think this was a gay op. They wanted this little feud so that then, you know, to a certain amount, Elon could look like the bad guy, but Elon would look like the temporary bad guy, but he's only wrong in the situation because he cares so much about the American people. He doesn't want them to get fucked over by this big, beautiful bill that's got all kinds of pork shoved into it. He just cares that much about the American people. And Trump was supposed to have this argument back and forth with him. This is what I think the plan was. And understand that this shit does work like wrestling, and there are planned fights and planned events.
Like I said,
that go on.
We're gonna have a wrestling match for custody of JD.
If you just look at how many people who were formerly involved with the WWE or in government
Vince
positions
McMahon would still be a
tell
major
me,
player here if he wasn't in court on sexual crimes charges.
and tell me this shit is not wrestling. It's wrestling. AA is completely correct in that observation about it.
It's kayfabe shit.
But I think that Elon, being a legitimate autist, was actually upset about this stuff. And he took it too seriously, and he flew off the handle, and he went too far, and where he went too far was talking about the Epstein list. Now, I thought, and I certainly saw this happen, that maybe the reason Elon had tweeted that, oh, release the Epstein list then, because you're on it. Okay, first of all, we all know Trump is on it, because we know he's on the Epstein flight logs. That we already know. So
and the left already thinks he was anyway.
Well, we already know he was on those flights. Allegedly,
Yeah, because he took a connecting flight on Epstein's plane.
Yeah,
but this gives him an opportunity.
To the island.
This gives him an opportunity to drag it into the courts and make it public record that he went to the island.
And it would have been because the left, of course, would have opposed releasing the Epstein files. as they freaked out about it in the weird psych out that they did earlier this year that was also very cringe and gay. This would seem to be a way to get the left to call for the Epstein files to be released, which I did see happen immediately afterwards. Well, Trump must have been really damning stuff on there. And you know, there's an idiot born every minute, yes. But it also is the case that people just grow into politics, so they don't know that everyone already knows these things.
Or they may have been kept out of the way. You might have been kept out of the loop on purpose to make sure that they did spurg out properly.
Maybe. I mean, people have an incredibly short memory for all the shit. It's why all these psyops work. It's why, again, the yearly riots, the annual Hammersmith riots, why people were freaking out about it. Because it's their probably first time experiencing it. Or their memory is so short. And it's very easy to have your memory short-circuited, essentially, by the global, constant, daily deluge of the news cycle. People just forget. They don't, and because everything is so injected with emotion, that it's difficult to notice the patterns. That, yeah, this is a rerun. Anyway, that's my hypothesis here, is that it was an op. It was a very gay op between the gay dads. But I think Elon did take it too far. I think he got genuinely tilted. Tensions over Republican spending bill burst into public view as president's relationship with his former advisor deteriorated. Elon Musk called for Trump's impeachment and mocked his connections to the convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein, as U.S. president threatened to cancel federal contracts and tax subsidies for Musk companies in an extraordinary social media feud that erupted between former allies on Thursday. The deterioration of their once close friendship into bitter acrimony came over the course of several remarkable hours. Dude, it was bizarre. There's a couple of hours on Twitter just being like, what's happening? They're just having a little gay, feminine little spat in front of everyone. But that's the thing. It's kayfabe. Of course you want to have your gay little public spat publicly. If this was a real issue, I think, like I said, I think it became one for Elon. They would have done it just behind closed doors. This was all a big show. The direct shots at Trump were the latest twist in the public showdown over the Republican spending bill that Musk has criticized. And look, I'm not fond of this bill either. It's fucking massive. It's got all kinds of dumb shit in it, as these bills always do. Trump and Musk had been careful not to hit each other directly, but on Thursday, the pair discarded restraint as the feud escalated on their respective social media platforms. The most churlish moment of the astonishing saga, Musk said on X that the reason the Trump administration had not released the Epstein files was because they implicated the president. We talked about this when that shit all went down. That anything in them makes Trump look good. If this was supposed to be an attempt to get the left to call for the release of the Epstein files, I mean, I could kind of see that as some little gay 4D underwater checkers. Do we need to cover the events of this? This is a lot of the known stuff. It also caused right-wing writer Ashley St. Clair, who gave birth to Elon Musk's 14th child, sued Musk for child support to weigh in, saying, "Let me know if you need any breakup advice," she posted on X tagging Trump. Alright, that's pretty good. Shares in Tesla, Musk's electric vehicle company, fell almost 15% on Thursday afternoon. With
Buy the dip.
Honestly, if I was an investing person, I would have. Because I could have... Anyone paying attention would have been able to see that this was a...
If this is passing for actual drama, then insider trading is the easiest job in the world. It really is. Holy fuck. You can just do some basic bitch pantomime pageantry and you can make some bank.
Apparently. For weeks, he's complained about the budget bill, which would add $2.4 trillion to the deficit over the next decade. Yeah. And is open to condemning the legislation as a disgusting abomination. I agree, it is a disgusting abomination. They're going to do it no matter what. We don't have any power over this shit. Maybe Elon genuinely thought he did. But that's the thing about Elon, too. He is granted his position here by the grace of those with more power than him. He's got the most money of any man on Earth, but he doesn't have the most power. Because power is what? It's not money. It's force. And Trump's the fucking president.
There's a reason that a money changer is such a powerful position in life, because it allows you to... You're a converter of force.
Yeah. I'm very disappointed with Elon, Trump said. He had no problem with it. All of a sudden he had a problem, and he only developed the problem when he found out we were going to cut the EV mandate. Musk went on a warpath within minutes of Trump's comments appearing on a clip on X where Musk was responding in real time. He accused the president of lying about the bill and accused Trump of being ungrateful to the millions he spent to get him elected. Yeah, I imagine that that did probably hurt Elon's feelings genuinely. He thought he could play the kayfabe, and I don't think he could actually maintain the mask. I don't think he could maintain the gimmick. I think he agreed to do this, to have this little fake show, and I do think he got genuinely tilted. Yeah, so Epstein stuff. In doing so, Musk ignored his own connections to Epstein. In 2014, like Trump, Musk was photographed at a party with Ghislaine Maxwell, former Epstein girlfriend, who was convicted in 2021 on charges that she helped the financier's sex trafficking activities. So yeah, you're not clean in this either. You know? Just as a point. But what I think it was about more than anything, maybe again Musk took it too seriously. He wasn't able to separate his feelings from, you know, the plan, which I like Elon Musk. I think he's interesting. But he is deeply autistic. and as something of an autist myself, I think he let it get to him. But if it's not that, or I think it is that, and maybe this too, he's going to take a $3 billion hit from this big beautiful bill thing on the removal of the EV spending credits. So he is up to lose a significant amount of money. Buried in the U.S. president's 1,000-page-long bill are plans to eliminate a $7,500 tax incentive for electric vehicle buyers and a ban on a similar scheme in California, highlighting a potential reason that Mr. Musk has vowed to kill the legislation. I think this is probably a big part of it. I think that making, cutting into Tesla's profit margins like this, which, I mean, I imagine at this point, Tesla is Elon's probably biggest brand of shit that he sells. He's got money all over the place, though, obviously. But he clearly cares about the Tesla brand. So he probably is tilted about this. I think that makes sense. I mean,
but what left suddenly cheering him on, Sam?
With, they're fair weather on everything, of course. Oh, can we...
But why are they suddenly cheering on a non-democratically elected official who suddenly thinks he's got the power to kill...
Who otherwise they totally want out, right? Because he's unelected, as if that
if the shoe's on the other foot, this would be a hideous violation of state sovereignty.
His net worth has fallen by $64 billion so far this year, according to Bloomberg. Though he still commands an estimated $368 billion fortune. But that is a lot of fucking money to lose. Losing another $3 billion per annum, was it? Yeah.
And that's just what's declared. Who knows?
Right. That is a large amount of money. I can understand why he would be pissed off about it. Musk was the largest political donor to the U.S. last year, giving $290 million to encourage voters to elect Trump and other Republicans. But that is what you are, Elon, in this equation. You are a financier. You are not a serious political figure. You have been invited to the table, but you don't really have a permanent seat at it. And that's, again, the way power works. And, again, definitely kayfabe, but whether or not Elon actually got angry about it, what the heck? Oh. Forgot to put the H. There we go. Musk deleted it. Of course. Unsurprisingly. Let's see. Key posts have been deleted from social media. Most divisive posts from Musk alleged that Trump is listed in the files related to the late financier and sex offender Jeffrey Epstein. And that's why they have not been fully released to the public. Musk made the allegation on Thursday, but as of Saturday morning, Musk's Epstein-related post was no longer showing, with X users instead receiving a notice that reads, "Sorry, that post has been deleted." Not the only post of Musk's that has been deleted. Another inflammatory post from Thursday, which saw Musk respond yes, endorsing a message that said Trump should be impeached and that Vance should replace him, is now no longer viewable on X. The deleted post suggests that the explosive feud between Trump and his one-time ally could be thawing. Yeah, because this was fake and gay. Yeah, that's it. So he deleted it. He deleted the, again, most incendiary one, which was the Epstein thing. And Elon is now expressing regret.
We got a doozy here.
What?
We've got a local story.
Oh, really? What local story do you got for me? I'll wrap this up. I would say the fact that I don't know what happened to Elon where he got the black eye, but it really doesn't help the battered wife look of all of these photos and from their divorce thing going on. So.
Nor does it help with the crowd. You think like the Black Eye Club, where like.
Oh right.
To be part of the special handshake club, you need to get punched in the face or forced by more senior members.
Mm-hmm. Let's see, where did I actually get to this? I regret some of my posts about President Donald Trump last week. They went too far. He said yesterday. Or today. This morning.
Just say, okay, boys, I'm sorry I crashed out some.
Yep.
Happens to us all.
He had what we call a little bit of a crash out.
He had a bit of a Buddha moment.
Look at him, like leaving little hearts on Trump saying we had a great relationship. I wish him well, very well actually. Let's hear him.
Are you going to get rid of the Tesla and the Starlink service that you have here at the White House?
No, I haven't heard that. I mean, I may move the Tesla around a little bit, but I don't think we'll be doing
and
that.
that's of course exactly. I may move the Tesla around a little bit and put my Benz out or whatever, you know.
I think it's a good service.
Where are you going to move it to? Move it around. What do you mean?
I have a lot of locations.
Actually, about
It's just such a stupid question. Trump made it clear what he meant by that. Leaving little hearts on it. Oh, it's so sad. Look at him. He has since left that post to pursue personal business such as Tesla, SpaceX, and X. Yeah. Well, that was temporarily cringe and gay, and appears to be over. And that's most of what I have for tonight. The only other thing I have...
Just see what I posted last. Just,
oh, yeah, right, yes.
Of all the things to come up...
Oh my god. I see why you're excited about this. Me too. Whoa.
That's our local grocery store.
Breaking news!
That's Kevin!
That's... Dude, oh, it's right there in Alliance, too. Man receives 40 sausage rolls as a reward for working 40 years. Whoa, guys.
That's probably what Kevin asked for, knowing Kevin.
Applause for Kevin in the chat for receiving 40 sausage rolls as a reward for his 40 hard, long years of work. Congratulations, Kevin, on your sausage rolls.
I know that man. I sell milk to him.
Guys, this is the, it is a clothing store here on the side, but the rest of this is a giant, mostly grocery store, and they've got
frozen stuff, like Iceland. I'm the same people.
Oh, yeah, it's like a giant Iceland. But this is the grocery store that Bill and I usually go to, so... 40 sausage
I know
rolls.
Kevin.
Kevin.
Kevin's an acquaintance.
Well, you make
right, here's the thing. Kevin's a
40 sausage rolls.
Kevin's got I know for a fact Kevin's got autism, so 100% he was the one who asked for the sausage rolls. I guarantee it.
What a based lad. Good for him. I'm glad he got his sausage rolls.
That's more likely what they laid on as a spread for the office party, for the matter. I don't think they just gave him a plate of 40 sausage rolls.
Yeah, I think it's an order. I hope. I don't know. Kevin's a bit stocky.
We're in a rare occasion here. I could get the inside scoop. I could just ask.
Find out this inside scoop on this important sausage roll story.
Of all the things to come up from the local market shit, it had to be this. It couldn't be something with a bit of dignity to it. It had to be my boy Kevin, framing it like my boy Kevin got done dirty.
Yeah.
He's also outlived all the people who've owned the place. This is not the original owner.
Well, that's because he's fueled by sausage rolls. He can't die.
Don't you give Kevin shit.
I'm not. I'm saying he's...
Look at him.
Oh, Lucy Lemonbug, thank you for gifting 5 Broken Crown memberships. Thank you so much. Hell yeah. Let's see. Donald Trump. This is winding up here. Trump, in his typical fashion, has announced on Truth Social that he has secured a deal with China. He says, "Our deal with China is done, subject to final approval with President Xi and me. Full magnets and any necessary rare earths will be supplied upfront by China. Likewise, we will provide to China what was agreed to, including Chinese students using our colleges and universities, which has always been good with me. We are getting a total of 55% tariffs. China's getting 10%. Relationship is excellent. Thank you for your attention on this matter." There you go. Okay, so... what did I say about China when the tariffs went into effect? Yeah, that was a little play. It was not the like all things, nothing ever fucking happens. Resolved. And we talked about it last week. Greta Thunberg was off to sail to Gaza because climate change is over and Israel-Gaza is the new hotness.
And she was so toxic, even the Israel government went, no, fuck off.
Yeah, they didn't want her either. Welcome back, Spoon. Are you okay?
No.
Are you not feeling well?
No, it's not really that.
Okay, well, I'm almost done anyway, so we'll wrap this up. What happened was, as I also said about this, obviously this was just a political stunt, and a really gay one at that.
That's all she is. She's a prop, desperately trying to maintain relevance.
Yes.
Imagine burning your entire childhood to do this gay bullshit.
She's not been a child for most of it. She was like 17 when she
she was still like a mid-teens.
she was
it's just that she looks like a because of her fetal alcohol syndrome. She looks like 8.
Yeah. Well, they play that up. They play it up, and if the picture is in this article, if not, I'll go find it. Of how
she looks like the bitch out of The Orphan.
Well, they very intentionally dress her like a child so that she looks like a child, but she looks like a tired child because she's not. She's like 24 or something at this point.
You know when you get people who try to get like a
22?
tattoo of their child and it's a really lumpy tattoo?
She's 22? What?
Yeah, I actually thought she was probably... I said 24. Yeah, she just looks young, and they
She looks like a baby grandma.
She does. Like a baby grandma. They give her the bowl cut, like the girl style bowl cut with like the, flat bangs, bob sort of cut on the sides that little kids get.
That fucking,
on purpose.
that fucking Village of the Damned kid fucking vibe. That's what they give it. Like, it's fucking horrendous.
So she made a video where she said, if you are seeing this video, where was it? We have been intercepted and kidnapped in international waters by the Israeli occupational forces, or forces that support Israel, Thunberg said in the video. As would be expected.
Wouldn't it be cool if like the footage just spliced immediately to like an ISIS execution? So, well,
Jesus.
Wondering how I got here.
Pushing the panic narrative, the Freedom Flotilla Coalition, which sponsors the ship's crews, thank you Western Journal for calling it what it is, issued statements that the ship was under assault in international waters and that quadcopters are surrounding the ship, spraying it with white paint-like substance. Communications are jammed, and disturbing sounds are being played over the radio. Okay, guys, what did they play? What did the Israeli government hijack the Freedom Flotilla's ship to play over the radio? I mean, is it just Kirby Air? Is it just Kirby, item bounce? It has to be. So I'm gonna, in that.
Yeah, item bounce is a game song, so it's usually okay to play.
In the spirit.
I fought the law and the law won.
Whoops, hang on.
No, fuck no, we that shit canned because of the copyright.
Okay. The Israeli Foreign Ministry then launched a barrage of social media posts intended to deflate the hyperbole. With recent reports of a celebrity's yacht headed to Gaza, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs wishes to clarify the following. The maritime code of the coast of Gaza is closed to unauthorized vessels under illegal naval blockade, consistent with international law. The yacht is claiming that it is delivering humanitarian aid. In fact, it is a media gimmick for publicity. Yep, we all know. This selfie yacht. Humanitarian aid is delivered regularly, blah, 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 blah. Gaza maritime zones remain an active conflict area, and Hamas has previously exploited sea routes for terrorist attacks, including October 7. And here they are on the selfie yacht. Being handed water. Okay, remember what I said about her dressing like a child? Look at the fucking hat.
They gave her a little frog bucket hat.
No, that's hers. That's her frog bucket hat. She is autistic. But look at how they dress her like a little child. Giving them delicious kosher sandwiches.
Where is he?
Things people do to get a decent Reuben.
I know. Well, to be fair, I wouldn't go this far, but I go pretty far for a good Reuben. HB took me to this Jewish restaurant in Philly one time, a Jewish deli and restaurant. That was the best Reuben I've ever had in my life. They do know what's up when it comes to corned beef, okay? There, and this is, of course, the picture that was that made the headlines.
She looks pissed as a fart in that photo. Fucking
hell. She's furious.
Local
Much
child
like-
drunk off her ass.
Just drunk
Much
as
like
shit.
Elon, much like many people, she thinks she's way more important than she actually is. Bitch, you don't matter one iota. Like, Elon
That's
actually
the fa-
does matter.
That's the
Like,
face
Greta
I made when
Thunberg
I, at the
does
age
not
of
matter at all.
12, got into a bottle of gin.
Wow, Greta, you're starting to realize that politics and all of it's all real fake and gay, and your little time in the spotlight is over. Like, this
I'm
is
sorry,
pathetic.
tired child. You're no longer a tired child. You just go be a tired child over there.
Go be a tired child somewhere else.
Oh god, the face.
You don't have to fake go home, but you can't fake stay here.
Yep. Oh my goodness. All right. That was the last story I had for the night. We got through things actually quite expediently. And that was we're caught up on the super chats as well. So excuse me, let me close off Kirby's air ride here.
Also, to the people in chat, I'm not drunk.
Where the fuck did I put it? Oh, it was where
I
did
am.
put this? I almost started playing an AA video when I was trying to click off the Kirby one because I had this in my
Yeah, we haven't
I was
had
planning
nearly
to
enough
watch it later.
reactions within reactions and reactions in this fucking video. All we need to, yeah, let's really like pile on the fucking hatred. I want 15 layers deep with a tectone vid on top.
Well, I was planning to listen to that AA video again later, and I just accidentally clicked on it, so you heard about 2 seconds of it. Oh well. Oh well, that is it for the evening. I thought
AA
that
video
would
is
take
really good,
way
by the way.
longer. Yeah, it's the same video. I just haven't gotten around to it. But yeah, that's it. Thank you guys so much for all the support, and we will be back as per usual at 7:30 p.m. British summertime currently, otherwise GMT, you know, and which is 5 hours ahead of Eastern Standard Time. That time, the time that we started since
It
we
is
moved it back
currently
an hour.
11:30.
Yes,
we are.
whatever time we used to start, minus an hour. We've been doing that now for a couple months though, so whatever. Anywho, thank you guys so much for hanging out, and we'll